This is heard across the state, including in Provo, where turnout has been steady since early this morning. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera joins us live from the Utah County Health and Justice Building. Eric?
Maria, there has been a constant flow of people here, especially now during lunchtime, people taking their breaks, some stopping by to drop off ballots, others going inside to cast their votes in person. Voters told me everything from school issues to city growth to just having a say in what happens locally motivated them to show up.
Just with our school district getting a new school district coming, we wanted our kids, basically us as parents, have a say for our kids.
Well, it's important also to get out for the big elections every 2 years for DC. I think these municipal and state elections are just really important because that's what is affecting your daily life.
What I hate is people complaining about something and never coming to try and change things.
And while the presidential election usually grabs the headlines, voters here say it's days like this that shape their neighborhoods, from schools and roads to who represents them at City Hall. Polls are open until 8 p.m., and county officials remind voters to double check that ballots are signed and dropped off on time to count. Live in Provo, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
We already know the outcome of one race. Sherry Jackson has been voted to serve as Mill Creek's new mayor. She tells Inside Sources housing is a big issue that she wants to address during her term.
It's a little bit of an issue too, and residents really are happy with their city. They don't want to see a lot of changes, but yet change is inevitable and growth is necessary to accommodate the number of people who live in our city and live in our valley.
Jackson says they are working to find creative ways to address housing needs. There's also a lot of pressure from the state. If cities don't become more proactive in permitting housing, they could lose zoning authority to the state. Major races across the country are coming to their end. ABC's Aaron Katursky says President Trump has thrown his support behind a few candidates.
Trump called in to campaign events for Republican candidates in Virginia and New Jersey, where a bitter race between Republican Jack Ciattarelli and Democrat Mikey Sherrill is barreling toward the finish line.
You need to go out and vote for Jack Ciattarelli, who's a great guy, a friend of mine.
He also endorsed Andrew Cuomo in New York and threatened to withhold federal funds from the city if Mamdani wins. Breaking news on KSL News Radio. A gas leak has the Alpine School District evacuating an elementary school along with some nearby neighbors and businesses. School officials don't believe that the gas is coming from Traverse Mountain Elementary School grounds, but all people within a quarter-mile radius are being ordered to evacuate the area. Police say 2 Highland High School students were arrested after bringing a gun to school. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
The school was out on a secure status for 20 minutes near noon when officials say they heard about possible gunfire at nearby Sugar House Park, with Highland students involved. Somehow that gun made it back into the school.
And then they brought that weapon into the school with them in an attempt to hide.
Salt Lake City Police Sergeant Greg Wilking says the school contacted police. School officials say the arrest happened after school was out, but still took place on the campus. The school says one of the students arrested had a gun and the other had ammunition. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at 84 years old. His political career spanned decades. He was White House Chief of Staff for President Gerald Ford, Secretary of Defense under President George H.W. Bush, served as a congressman from Wyoming, and was President George W. Bush's vice president. More from ABC's Karen Travers in Washington.
After a stint as head of defense contractor Halliburton, Cheney returned to run George W. Bush's vice presidential selection committee and was selected himself.
The person who was best qualified to be my vice presidential nominee was working by my side.
After 9/11, Cheney was influential in formulating the U.S. response. The doctrine of preemptive action widened the war on terrorism from Afghanistan to Iraq.
He was considered one of the most controversial vice presidents by many. ABC News Chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl has more.
Cheney became the architect of America's war on terror, the fight against al-Qaeda.
Well, we're going to spend time in the shadows and in the intelligence world. A lot of what needs to be done here will have to be done quietly, without any discussion, using sources and methods that are available to our intelligence agencies if we're going to be successful. That's the world these folks operate in.
Less than a month after September 11th, The U.S. launched attacks against al-Qaeda and its Taliban allies in Afghanistan.
In a statement, his family says he died due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. Senator John Curtis reacting to the news, saying he's grateful for the many years of service Cheney gave to the country, and he led with conviction and strength through some of America's most defining challenges. Senator Mike Lee says, may God bless his family, the country he served for so many years, and all who mourn his passing. First Look Traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. We do have traffic backing up onto the main flow of southbound I-15 at the 90th South exit in Sandy. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
Constipation with belly pain that keeps coming back and back and back. If your symptoms keep coming back, talk to your doctor. It could be irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C. Linzess could help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
This holiday season, won't you help us by bringing joy to a young child? It begins with the Children's Center Utah's Hope and Healing online fundraiser. Now through Thursday, your donations will support essentials for therapeutic work, including tools, play materials, books, and art supplies, so children can better express emotions and heal. Your contributions will be vital. Local foundations and individuals are matching donations so that every gift will have maximum impact. It's 90 hours of giving to raise $90,000, which will provide 90 children with 4 sessions of family therapy. You can even make your gift in honor or in memory of a loved one or family member. Plus, the giving doesn't end when the 90 hours are over. The Children's Center Utah welcomes donations of winter clothing, diapers, and formula to support basic needs for families who struggle to afford essentials during these holiday months. Visit childrenscenterutah.org. Help a family this holiday season. The Children's Center Utah, where hope and healing happen.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. It's Election Day, and people will be hitting the polls for races among some smaller municipalities. KSL News Time, 12:08. It was a good opening night for most of our Northern Utah College basketball teams. The game getting a national spotlight was BYU versus Villanova in Las Vegas, and BYU freshman A.J. DeBonsa led the way.
Scoop and score. The long reach of A.J. DeBonsa and gets it to go. He's got 21. He is the 5th freshman in program history with 20 or more in his BYU debut. Suddenly it is an 8-point lead. It's a 10-0 BYU run.
The game tightened up late in the second half with Villanova taking the lead for a moment, but BYU head coach Kevin Young says the team settled down and went on a 10-0 run to get the win. The number 8 ranked BYU Cougars next play Holy Cross at the Marriott Center on Saturday night. In breaking news, Utah's professional rugby team will not return next year. The Utah Warriors has been playing for Major League Rugby for 8 years, but did not get the funding needed to continue. Utah Warriors CEO says all season ticket holders will be refunded within the next week. A former Major League Baseball player who calls Utah home is getting another crack at making the Hall of Fame. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Dale Murphy was a 2-time National League MVP. He was named an All-Star 7 times. He played 18 years in the majors, and he had over 2,000 hits. But for whatever reason, Hall of Fame voters, they passed him over. His name, along with 7 others, though, will be considered by the Contemporary Baseball Era Committee to possibly get into the Hall of Fame. But he does have tough competition. That includes Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, who didn't make previous ballots because of their links to performance-enhancing drugs. Murphy has been a crusader against performance-enhancing drugs, and he's currently an important part of the Big League Utah movement, trying to bring a Major League Baseball team here to the state. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together is brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
Well, Maria, I'm not sure what's going on in Sandy, but it definitely is impacting traffic, especially at the exit from southbound I-15 at 90th South. That ramp is completely backed up, and the delays are starting to spill over just a touch onto the main flow of I-15. But 90th South itself, you're going to see some slow speeds both directions between I-15 and 7th West. Now, if you're traveling any of the other Valley freeways, a delay-free drive, but we do have the final cleanup of a crash in West Valley. This is southbound I-215's West Belt. It's after the 201 junction, but before 3500 South, where the vehicles have been out of traffic on the shoulder. The #1 best-selling author, Richard Paul Evans' new book, The Christmas Stranger, is now on sale. Critics are calling it one of his best. Get your copies of The Christmas Stranger today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The mild November weather continues today, folks. Mostly sunny skies with a high of 70. Very close to record highs for the day, right around 74. 49 overnight, pretty mild. Then we'll go to 72 tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy out of the south. Those winds will help usher in a cold front early Thursday morning, bringing in a chance for morning showers, but by afternoon, 57 and partly cloudy. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
So get out and enjoy the sunshine today. Sunny at 70 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday with Maria Shilaos, we'll talk to Rocky Mountain Power about how we can help keep Utahns warm. That's next, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Most folks wait till January to say, I should probably fix this or do something about how you feel. But you know what? You're going to go into 2026 with the resolution already done because soda helps you lose the weight now, so your New Year's all celebration.
You and I both started our soda weight loss journey in October and November, right? And I loved going into holiday parties knowing I had a plan. It wasn't just, I'm going to try not to. It was, this is my plan because I've spoken with a nutritionist and I get a jump start on that, first of the year goal by beginning soda weight loss right now.
Yeah, there's no guesswork. You're supported every step of the way, and you need that. And right now, there's an amazing offer from Soda for you and your partner. You join, and your partner joins for free.
So why gain 20 pounds just to lose it in the new year? Go to Soda Weight Loss today and begin today.
That's sodaweightloss.com, SOTA weightloss.com, because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things, people,
love.
Veterans Day is a moment where we express gratitude towards the folks who have served on our behalf, our veterans. And Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates veterans of all branches and their families on Veterans Day and every day of the year. They serve over 2 million veterans, and as a veteran, you can become a member and access exclusive rates, discounts, and financial tools for the whole family. Become a member at NavyFederal.org/veterans. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
KSL News Time 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First, it is Election Day, and the polls are open until 8 o'clock tonight. Let's get you an update with traffic, Ricky.
We do have traffic backed up on the exit ramp from southbound to I-15 at 90th South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Temperatures up near record levels today and tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's sunny and 70 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. It is day 35 of the government shutdown, now tied for the longest in U.S. history, both occurring during President Trump's first and second terms. Republicans who control the House, Senate, and White House are blaming Democrats for refusing to join Republicans to reopen. Speaker Mike Johnson.
The president is trying to get the government open again, and the Republicans have voted 14 times to do it, and the Democrats have voted 14 times not to do it.
Democrats say they are pushing to negotiate extending tax credits for health care premiums. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
We want to reopen the government. We want to find a bipartisan path forward toward enacting a spending agreement that actually makes life better for the American people, that lowers costs for the American people, as opposed to the Trump economy, where things are getting more expensive by the day.
The fight along party lines happening as Americans take to the polls today for state and local elections, including races for governor in Virginia and New Jersey. Here's ABC's Aaron Katursky.
Trump called in to campaign events for Republican candidates in Virginia and New Jersey, where a bitter race between Republican Jack Ciattarelli and Democrat Mikey Sherrill is barreling toward the finish line.
You need to go out and vote for Jack Ciattarelli, who's a great guy, a friend of mine.
President Trump ordering flags be lowered to half-staff following the death of former Vice President Dick Cheney. His family says he died due to complications of pneumonia and cardiac and vascular disease. ABC's Karen Travers says more.
After a stint as head of defense contractor Halliburton, Cheney returned to run George W. Bush's Vice Presidential Selection Committee and was selected himself.
The person who was best qualified to be my vice presidential nominee was working by my side.
After 9/11, Cheney was influential in formulating the U.S. response. The doctrine of preemptive action widened the war on terrorism from Afghanistan to Iraq.
You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. Rocky Mountain Power is offering a new way to help other Utahns stay warm this winter with the Lend a Hand program. David Eskelson with Rocky Mountain joins me now live. David, thanks for being with me.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about this program and how we can help others.
Sure. We've been partnering with the Salvation Army on Lend a Hand for a number of years, and we're really pleased at this program. We think it does a wonderful service for customers who need help paying utility bills. Rocky Mountain Power matches $2 for every $1 donated, up to $120,000, and last year the program raised $215,000 and helped almost 1,000 households in Utah with bill payments.
Right. We are hearing that there's a greater need than ever. We heard that some of the federal programs are going away or won't be available for some time. Are you seeing more people apply, or how do people apply if they need help?
Well, there's a couple of ways. They can contact the Salvation Army directly, and that's what we do when customers call our customer service line. That's a toll-free number, 888-221-7070, and they can put you in touch with the Salvation Army, and they handle the application process and qualifying customers who meet the guidelines for assistance. And then, of course, we work with the Salvation Army directly. All of the donations that we receive from customers go directly to them. And they administer the program. One of the things that we've been really grateful to see is the participation of our customers. periodically, we will send donation envelopes in the bills. They can donate that way. They can donate as part of their monthly bill payment too. You call that toll-free number, talk to one of our customer service representatives, and you can donate one time, or you can set up a monthly contribution. And it's a good way to help our neighbors who may be in need of assistance for their essential public services. Electricity is probably one of the most essential public services. So we're very pleased to help with this program.
All right. And again, what was that number again for people to call?
It's 888-221-7070.
David, appreciate your help. Thanks for being with me.
You're most welcome.
That is Dave Eskelson with Rocky Mountain Power joining us. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Still some backups out there, Ricky?
Yeah, exiting southbound I-15 in Sandy at 90th South. That ramp is completely backed up. And the main flow of 90th South itself in both directions between I-15 and 7th West, also seeing delays. Could be road work, but I don't have any other problems listed. We'll keep an eye on it. The main flow of I-15 and the rest of your Salt Lake County freeways look good. We do have crews still on the scene of an earlier vehicle fire. This is up north, way up north, northbound on I-15 in the Honeyville area of Box Elder County. Everybody is now out of traffic over to the right, but partially sticking out into that right lane. The Garden Restaurant in downtown Salt Lake. Dine in or order out. The Garden is open weekdays 11 to 3. Hearty, healthy, and so craveable. Fresh flavors, iconic location. The Garden Restaurant. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. We've got a 70 in store today. Mostly sunny skies, mild with pretty clean air. 72 tomorrow. We'll go mostly cloudy, breezy. Then a cold front late Wednesday into early Thursday. Thursday morning showers, but by Thursday afternoon, 57 and partly cloudy. 59, partly cloudy skies on Friday. Saturday, 56, mix of sun and clouds. And we continue that trend with 60s on both Sunday and Monday with partly cloudy skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
A lot of sunshine, 70 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets at this hour. Ooh, the Dow down. Oh boy, all the markets down right now. Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Pacific Corp is hosting a virtual public open house meeting to discuss a proposed 45-mile transmission line in southern Utah Valley that will span from Spanish Fork to Eagle Mountain. The meeting will take place on November 10th from 6 to 7 p.m. on Zoom. The proposed transmission line will improve system reliability for customers, meeting increasing electrical demand in the region, and connect additional energy resources. Get details and learn more at pacificcorp.com/Spanish Fork.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
KSL News Time 1225. The Jonas Brothers will be starring in a new Christmas movie, A Very Jonas Christmas.
As the Jonas Brothers, we're great. But us as brothers, like actually, whatever magic was there is just dead.
Nothing like Christmas to help a family rediscover its magic.
The new movie is set to come out on Hulu and Disney Plus on November 14th. Watching Utah's Money, Denny's is getting a new owner and going private. Tri Artisan Capital Advisors, the parent company of TGI Fridays, will take it over and its debt. Stockholders will get $6.25 per share. Nintendo is revising its sales forecast for the Nintendo Switch. Reuters reports the gaming company now expects to sell 19 million units for the year instead of the initial 15 million earlier this year. It's expected to make $2.5 billion this fiscal year. More countries are spending more money on AI. South Korea's government is calling for tripling government spending on AI infrastructure and technology, reaching nearly $7 billion. And taking a look at your money at this moment, all the markets down. The Dow is down by 258 points. That's more than 0.5%, sitting at 47,079. S&P down almost a full percent, down 66 points, and the Nasdaq up down more than 1.5%, down 387 points. A food recall is affecting more than 12 states.
The listeria outbreak linked to recalled ready-to-eat pasta meals is growing, with at least 6 deaths now confirmed. The pasta products are from Nate's Fine Foods and were sold at Kroger, Walmart, Trader Joe's, and Albertsons in 18 states.
That is ABC's Mola Lengi reporting.
My friend Joey means well.
Always remember that the early bird gathers no moss.
But he gets a little confused.
You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a wooden nickel.
Like Joey, many of us can be confused when it comes time to plan for retirement. When to take Social Security, how to use that 401k, what about the stock market, taxes, and Medicare? Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management can help to simplify retirement planning. His goal is to have you walk into retirement with confidence, not worry, and to address the #1 concern among retirees today, the fear of running out of money. Call Galileo Wealth today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting to talk about the details of your retirement. 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online, GalileoWealth.com. And remember,
one man's trash is thicker than water. Of course, water's not thick at all. It's watery.
I'm Dave Cawley, investigative journalist and host of the podcast Cold. In October of 1985, a woman named Cherie Warren left work at a busy Salt Lake City office
to meet her estranged husband at a downtown auto dealership.
She never made it home. Cherie's car surfaced weeks later in Las Vegas.
In the parking lot of a hotel casino.
No one knows how it got there.
Strange. It was strange.
Both Cherie's estranged husband and her boyfriend raised suspicion for investigators.
I kind of thought that he might have done something.
But no arrests were ever made. In Cold Season 3, we dig into double lives, make new connections in the case, and examine the difficulty raised by reasonable doubt.
We want answers just as much as anyone else.
They have creeps like that now too, so nothing's changed.
That's the new Cold Season 3, The Search for Cherie, now available anywhere you get your podcasts.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
We are seeing traffic moving much better on the exit ramp from southbound I-15 at 90th South. The big backup that we had that lasted probably a half an hour is starting to really ease, as well as the backups both directions on 90th South proper. They're not clear, but we're seeing improvement. Again, it's east and westbound 90th South between 7th West and I-15. All of your Valley freeways are seeing a nice and quiet drive up north, the final cleanup of an earlier vehicle fire. This is in Box Elder County, northbound I-15 in Honeyville. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Unseasonably warm weather today, folks. 70 the forecast high, mostly sunny skies. 49 overnight, we'll go to 72 tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a breeze out of the south. Those winds will kick in a cold front late Wednesday, early Thursday. In fact, early Thursday morning we could see some showers, but by afternoon dry and a high of 57. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Nice sunshine in downtown Salt Lake City and 70 degrees.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, KSL News Time 1230. KSL's top story this half hour. Attorneys on both sides of the redistricting arguments here in Utah gave their final pitches for how the state's congressional districts should be split. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson is live with what happened in court today. Heather?
Maria, today the plaintiffs in the case argued that Map C, which was submitted to the court by Utah lawmakers, is not politically neutral like Proposition 4 calls for and should not be approved by the court. The legislature's attorney Tyler Green cited testimony from experts that it doesn't have to be an even split of both parties to be the most fair way to split the state.
This is Dr. Katz's testimony that the partisan bias test and the uniform's partisan swing assumption is statistically reliable, even if the state's actual vote share is far from 50%.
But attorneys for the plaintiffs say the court needs to look at a variety of methods to test partisan bias. Both sides were asked to submit their final findings to the court by Thursday so the judge can make a decision by Monday in time for the 2026 election. Reporting live, Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
A Utah judge has ordered more prison time for a man convicted of raping 2 women before he allegedly faked his own death and fled to Scotland to avoid prosecution. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
A judge has sentenced Nicholas Rossi to 5 years to life in prison for raping a woman he previously dated in Orem back in 2008. The judge ordered that sentence to run consecutively to the 5 years to life sentence he received in a separate rape case in Salt Lake County the same year. The victim in the Utah County case addressed the court before the sentencing today.
I felt frozen, numb, and completely broken, consumed by fear, confusion, and a deep sense of worthlessness.
Rossi also addressed the court, maintaining his innocence.
These women are lying, and that what they have done is unjust.
Rossi was investigated for other alleged crimes in other states before police located him in Scotland in 2022. There, he denied being Nicholas Rossi, but rather claimed to be an Irish orphan named Arthur Knight. He was eventually extradited back to Utah to stand trial for both rape cases. He was convicted in both of them. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
An Americana musician was arrested during his tour stop here in the Salt Lake area. Deputies say Todd Snyder was booked into the Salt Lake County Jail for trespassing, making a threat of violence, and disorderly conduct after causing a disturbance at Salt Lake City Regional Hospital. Police documents say that he claims he was attacked outside his hotel, but got angry when he was discharged from the hospital and started making threats. The remainder of his tour has been canceled. The Larry H. Miller family wants to put a spotlight on cold cases, so they are hosting a 3-day symposium. This comes after they had to deal with their own cold case for a decade in the murder of Sherry Black. KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman has more.
Heidi Miller and her husband started the Sherry Black Foundation back in 2017, intending to help other families find closure. The foundation is now hosting the 3-day conference, which will focus on forensic investigative work, strategies for prosecuting cold case homicides, the latest in digital technology and criminal behavior, investigating staged crime scenes, and more. There are currently 254 unsolved homicides in Utah. Miller told KSL.com, "We want to help people find answers."
The Millers opened the conference with 150 members of law enforcement at the SLCC Miller campus. KSL's top national stories. President Trump is threatening to withhold the partial SNAP payments just a day after the administration said that they would pay it out. The push for benefits is now heading back before a federal judge. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest.
The groups and localities that have taken this into court say the administration is failing to abide by the Rhode Island-based federal judge's ruling, and now they want it enforced. A USDA official submitted a sworn declaration to the court yesterday saying partial payments from SNAP's contingency fund could take weeks, if not months, to distribute. The plaintiffs say the judge should order the government to pay out this month's benefits in full. He has ordered the administration to respond in writing by close of business tomorrow. He's also scheduled a hearing on Thursday.
The government remains closed. Some federal workers, including air traffic controllers, are forced to work without pay. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned the department could be forced to shut down the airspace in certain parts of the country if the shutdown goes on for much longer.
If you bring us to a week from today, Democrats, you will see mass chaos, you will see mass flight delays, you'll see mass cancellations, and you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we just cannot manage it because we don't have the air traffic controllers.
Some airports are seeing delays up to hours at a time as more air traffic controllers call out sick. First Look Traffic, here's Ricky Meese.
Crews remain on the scene of an earlier vehicle fire northbound I-15 in Box Elder County in the Honeyville area. It's still blocking a right lane. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you spend half your day walking or standing while working? If you have foot, knee, or back problems, the Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Tony.
Pain that I experience the most is foot pain from being on my feet all day. You're having to kind of talk to yourself through the whole shift, like, I got this, I can do this. Before, I felt defeated, and now it's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. A whole new life, like sunshine coming on.
And how about working more comfortably, like Dennis?
Working at an amusement park, it's always on your feet. I just couldn't take it, but I didn't have a choice. I just couldn't believe that putting these arch supports in made that much of a difference that quickly. I could do my job and I could take care of my family. I know what my tomorrow's gonna be. It's gonna be positive.
You deserve a better life too. Stop in the Good Feet store today. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Annuities, not advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story this half hour. Attorneys from both sides made their final pleas to a judge today over what would be the most fair way to split up Utah's congressional districts. KSL News Time, 1237. The number of stillbirths in the U.S. is rising, and doctors don't really know why. Dr. Bob Silver started a stillbirth research program at the University of Utah Hospital. He says something the U.S. can do to try and get rates down is emulate what other countries are doing right.
Some of the strategies include decreasing smoking, taking care of high blood pressure during pregnancy, screening for babies that are small and not getting enough blood and oxygen, helping patients pay better attention to fetal movement, taking better care of patients during labor.
He says it's not going to make stillbirths disappear completely, but Dr. Silver says it's a start. There's a foster family shortage in Utah. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson tells us more.
Align Utah CEO Skylar Farnes says the need is bigger for kids ages 10 to 18 who have difficult backgrounds.
And the need is greater than ever and growing day by day. There's more kids in shelters that are awaiting placements than we currently have homes available for.
According to last year's stats, we only have about half of what is needed. Farnes says they're flexible and will work with families to get licensed, and he wants people to know they aren't on their own when they decide to foster a child. There are resources like family therapy, mentors, and medical services so that fostering is as successful as possible. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
University of Utah is gearing up And for hundreds of racers this weekend, running to raise awareness of intimate partner violence. This is in honor of U of U student Lauren McCluskey, who was killed in 2018. Executive Director of the Lauren McCluskey Foundation, Edwin Giannini, says that this is an important message for any college campus.
You know, they're in an area where they may not have the existing support network they've had for the last 18 years. So, you know, you have a population of people, you know, maybe at a heightened state of vulnerability.
This is the 4th annual race for campus safety, and Giannini says this message is spread to 400 universities in 17 countries. Traffic and weather together is brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
We have a good-looking drive on your Valley freeways in Salt Lake County. Good speeds, no problems. The only issue that remains is an earlier vehicle fire northbound I-15 in Box Elder County, where a right lane is blocked in the Honeyville area as they're working to get that cleared. However, this occurred early this morning. There's no backup, no problems as far as getting around it. You just have to keep your eyes open with that right lane blocked to traffic and get around that, but otherwise, you're good to go. Try UTA and get more done while you ride. Games, work, books, shows. You'll be too busy to notice all the traffic you're missing. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's a storybook, picturesque kind of day, folks. 70 the high, mostly sunny skies, and minimal haze. Overnight, we'll go to 49. Tomorrow, 72, breezy out of the south, and mostly cloudy. Now, we'll also pick up on a cold front late Wednesday, early Thursday. By Thursday afternoon, dry, 57, and cool. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Sunny and 70 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. And coming up on Midday, we'll look back on former Vice President Dick Cheney's legacy. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
Hey, Utah! Are you ready for the Utah Mammoth to hit the ice? From game-winning goals to behind-the-scenes moments, Mammoth Plus brings the action to you all season long. Whether you're at home, on the go, or in the stands, don't miss a single shift. Visit UtahMammothPlus.com and start streaming today. That's UtahMammothPlus.com. Every game, every goal, live on Mammoth Plus.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
KSL News Time, 1244. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
a man convicted for raping 2 Utah women before allegedly fleeing the country to avoid prosecution for years is now going to spend at least the next 10 years in prison. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, a gas leak in Lehigh is forcing evacuations at Traverse Mountain Elementary School and the surrounding area. No injuries have been reported. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Salt Lake City PD wrapping up a crash downtown at West Temple and 6 South. If you're traveling any of the Salt Lake County freeways, you are good to go. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
The very mild November weather continues today, tomorrow, and then it drops off Thursday. I'm Matt Johnson.
It's just a beautiful day, 70 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national story.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Operations temporarily disrupted at Reagan National Airport today due to a bomb threat.
United Airlines Flight 512 landed at Reagan National Airport from Houston. And just as it did, tower controllers told it not to head to a gate. Here's what it sounded like on liveatc.net.
We have an unconfirmed bomb report for your flight. We got to get you away from the airport.
The flight was directed to a distant spot on the tarmac, and bomb detection and canine teams were dispatched. After more than an hour, the passengers were offloaded there and onto buses. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
As the shutdown drags on, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warning that some airspace may be closed next week due to the strain on air traffic controllers who are working without pay. States and nonprofits suing for SNAP benefits are asking a judge to uphold an order for the Trump administration to fully fund the program assistance program. And the economy, a major factor for voters today, casting ballots in local and state elections. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died after complications from pneumonia. Tim Chambliss of the University of Utah's Hinckley Institute of Politics joins me live in studio. Thanks so much for being here today, Tim.
Thank you, Maria.
So give us your thoughts on the legacy and the history of the former VP. What legacy is he leaving behind?
Dick Cheney is a historic figure in U.S. history. Arguably, Cheney is probably the most powerful vice president in American history. He was chief of staff to President Ford. He was a congressman for 10 years from Wyoming, Secretary of Defense during the Persian Gulf War, and elected twice, 2 terms, 8 years, vice president. And he was vice president for just less than 8 months on the day of 9/11, 2001. And he was in the White House. President George W. Bush was in the air, but also unable to communicate fully. So it was Dick Cheney who was making key decisions from the White House on that critical day.
Yeah, he is a controversial person in history. Both sides will say that there are some things because he had to deal so much with the terrorists and 9/11 and the fallout from that. Describe why he did become such a controversial figure.
Well, perhaps it's because the Sunday after 9/11, he was on national television, NBC, Meet the Press, and he said, we will have to do some things on the dark side. The dark side. He was unclear about that, but it meant basically unconstitutional actions, actions that would violate our civil liberties, actions that would involve black site prisons, torture, apprehending individuals who were perceived to be a threat to the United States, but no due process or evidence. He had a manner that was, speaking style that was thoughtful, but his words were very forceful. And when I say he was a very powerful vice president, he had a larger national security staff than President George W. Bush. He had vice president offices in the White House, on Capitol Hill, at the CIA, at the Pentagon. He was a very activist vice president.
He has taken a lot of criticism for his stand on waterboarding, and that's partly what you mentioned there. Many people believe that waterboarding wasn't needed. What was his stand? Why did he believe that waterboarding of prisoners was necessary?
It's a very good question. He believed in something he called the 1% doctrine, and that is to say, if there was a 1% possibility of the United States being victimized by terrorism, then it was necessary for the United States to do all necessary action to prevent a second 9/11. He was willing to do things, as he said, on the dark side, things that we would consider to be very, very unconstitutional, very illegal.
Yet he was well respected. He sat in so many different positions. Wouldn't it be pretty tough to find a man who had been in so many different positions?
Yes, and George W. Bush, having just finally been determined to be the president in middle of December of 2000, had a very limited time to select a running mate, and he had decided that Dick Cheney, if elected, should be that person because George W. Bush had minimal past experience in Washington, D.C. He was a governor from Texas, but Dick Cheney had had years in Washington, D.C. He knew the players. He knew how to get things done. And so for that reason, Cheney was a very powerful vice president.
I appreciate you being with me. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much. It's an honor.
And again, that is Tim Chambliss with the University of Utah's Hinckley Institute of Politics. Let's get you up to date on the drive, traffic, and weather. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
In downtown, watch for the final clearing of a crash at West Temple and 6 South. Really shouldn't hold you up. Valley Freeway traffic looking good. The only spot is up north, way up north. An earlier vehicle fire from this morning is still blocking a right lane of travel northbound I-15 in Honeyville. No backups from it. You can get around it easily, but crews will be on the scene for a little bit longer in order to get this cleaned up completely. Foothill Rug Gallery's semi-annual sale up to 70% off. Already low direct importer prices. If you've wanted a quality handmade rug, this is the sale. Foothill Rugs, 1460 South Foothill Drive. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. We're going to be up near record levels today and tomorrow. I got a high of 70 today, mostly sunny skies. Record 74 from 1915. Tomorrow we top out at 72. Breezy out of the south, mostly cloudy. The record's 75 from 2009. We cool it off. 57 is all you get on Thursday. Chance for AM showers, then clearing. 59, partly cloudy skies. That's more normal on Friday. Saturday, 56, a mix of sun and clouds. We go partly cloudy Sunday and Monday with highs in the low 60s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Definitely a noon hour to take a walk. It's sunny and 70 degrees downtown. 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets. Ooh, not such a rosy day on the markets. Well, unless you consider the red color rosy. A lot of negative numbers. A complete update of your money news coming up next.
This holiday season, won't you help us by bringing joy to a young child? It begins with the Children's Center Utah's Hope and Healing online fundraiser. Now through Thursday, your donations will support essentials for therapeutic work, including tools, play materials, books, and art supplies, so children can better express emotions and heal. Your contributions will be vital. Local foundations and individuals are matching donations so that every gift will have maximum impact. It's 90 hours of giving to raise $90,000, which will provide 90 children with 4 sessions of family therapy. You can even make your gift in honor or in memory of a loved one or family member. Plus, the giving doesn't end when the 90 hours are over. The Children's Center Utah welcomes donations of winter clothing, diapers, and formula to support basic needs for families who struggle to afford essentials during these holiday months. Visit childrencenterutah.org. Help a family this holiday season. The Children's Center Utah, where hope and healing happen.
Hi, I'm Andy, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a product development manager, I make sure every piece of fine jewelry at Shane Company is meticulously designed for quality. From 14-karat gold chains, pearl necklaces, diamond studs, and of course, dream engagement rings. We know you can get your holiday gifts anywhere these days, but knowing your loved one's gift was crafted by master jewelers? It's a difference everyone can see and feel, no matter the price. All of our fine jewelry begins with a vision by our in-house designers. Then, we ensure each piece meets our high-quality standards every step of the way, including the smallest details. It's why our jewelry comes with our all-inclusive, free lifetime warranty that covers everything and doesn't cost a dime. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship. Because a friend wants your fine jewelry to be nothing short of perfect. Come see for yourself. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
KSL News Time 12:54. A medieval tower in the heart of Italy's capital near the famous Roman Forum ruins partially collapsed during renovations, critically injuring one worker and trapping another. Hundreds of tourists watched as firefighters used a mobile ladder to bring a stretcher to the upper level of the tower to rescue the worker who remained trapped. During the rescue attempt, another part of the structure partially collapsed, sending up a cloud of debris and forcing firefighters to quickly retreat. One of those workers died. The other spent 11 hours trapped. Watching Utah's money, Volvo sales are down 2% from this time last year. The company's chief commercial officer says the challenging market conditions are impacting business, and the expiration of the U.S. EV tax credit isn't helping. Kroger and its subsidiaries, including Smith's, are asking customers to pay an exact change if using cash. USA Today says it's because of the penny shortage and their inevitable end. Oreo is ready for Thanksgiving and is releasing a few flavors inspired by the big dinner. They include turkey and gravy, sweet potato, cream corn, oh my goodness, apple caramel pie, pumpkin pie, and cranberry spice. They are only available on the Oreo website. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by 309 points, sitting at 47,027. S&P is down by nearly 80 points. The NASDAQ is down by nearly 2%. It's down 458 points.
Advantage annual enrollment period. And Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
Are you within 3 years of filing for Social Security? You've heard about delaying your benefits to get a bigger benefits check, right? But guess what? That could be a huge mistake. When you consider your taxes, Medicare premiums, and other benefits, you could potentially get more income by filing early. Find out the precise timing that could get you the most money possible with a free, customized Social Security analysis from Boss Retirement Solutions. If you've saved more than $300,000 and have not filed for Social Security, schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. Don't leave one dime on the table that's rightfully yours. Schedule your free analysis now by calling 801-896-9622. That's 801-896-9622.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape, Ricky.
Salt Lake County Freeway seeing a quiet drive. In fact, I-15 delay-free both directions between Ogden and Provo. A little further north, though, a right lane remains blocked northbound I-15 in Honeyville in Box Elder County due to an earlier vehicle fire, but no backups or other issues around that. From system install to fast fixes to delivering award-winning heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical, call Whipple Service Champions for the win today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And it is a beautiful day with a high of 69 and staying this nice through Wednesday. Right now, 64 downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Across the state and the country, voters are taking to the polls today to cast their ballots. Control of the White House and Congress won't change in this election, but that doesn't mean that it's not important.
What I hate is people complaining about something and never coming to try and change things.
County clerks encouraging voters to get their ballots in before 8 o'clock tonight.
It is far too late to return your ballot using the post office.
The time is 1 o'clock on Tuesday, November 4th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, your voice, your vote. We have special coverage on the various races here in Utah, plus some of the more interesting races nationwide. Also this hour,
you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we just cannot manage it because we don't have the air traffic controllers.
it is not the message you want to hear just weeks before the busy holiday travel period begins. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy now saying they could close parts of American airspace if the government shutdown continues. But first, our top stories. A gas leak in Lehigh has forced evacuations at Traverse Mountain Elementary School and the surrounding area. The city says students are being relocated to Eagle Summit Park to be reunited with their parents. Anyone in businesses or homes within a quarter mile of the school are also being asked to evacuate immediately. Our top national story from ABC News. The Secretary of Transportation now says that airspace in parts of the U.S. may have to close if the government shutdown continues.
If you bring us to a week from today, Democrats, you will see mass chaos, you will see mass flight delays, you'll see mass cancellations, and you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we just cannot manage it because we don't have the air traffic controllers.
Today is the day 35 of the government is day 35 of the government shutdown, tied for the longest shutdown in U.S. history. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down more than 300 points, sitting at 47,028. S&P down by about 80 points, and the NASDAQ down by nearly 2%, down 456 points. Former Vice President Dick Cheney, considered by many political observers to be one of the most influential vice presidents in history, has died at the age of 84. ABC's Karen Travers has more on Cheney's impact on Washington.
After a stint as head of defense contractor Halliburton, Cheney returned to run George W. Bush's Vice Presidential Selection Committee and was selected himself.
The person who was best qualified to be my vice presidential nominee was working by my side.
After 9/11, Cheney was influential in formulating the U.S. response. The doctrine of preemptive action widened the war on terrorism from Afghanistan to Iraq.
Cheney died from complications from pneumonia. The newly appointed president of Utah State University, Brad Mortensen, has a 30-day mission. He tells Inside Sources his first duty is to speak to the students to find out what they want and need. Then he needs to learn all he can about running a land-grant school.
My goal is to really go and listen and learn and then chart a path forward so that Research One mission really comes to pass and benefiting the whole state of Utah.
Mortensen also says he hopes to bring a higher profile to USU, as he did when he was at Weber State University, and break the cycle of high turnover rate of administrators at the school. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
Right now, I'm looking at a live shot of a new accident on northbound I-15. Multiple vehicles involved. This is in Murray. It's blocking right and center lanes of travel. Looks like only 2 left lanes of the freeway are open for everyone to get by northbound I-15 after 4500 South, and it is starting to cause delays. Number 1 best-selling author Richard Paul Evans' new book, The Christmas Stranger, is now on sale. Critics are calling it one of his best. Get your copies of The Christmas Stranger today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Enjoy these mild temperatures now. Things changing later in the week. Very nice temperatures all the way through Wednesday, but on Thursday, back down into the 50s and a 20% chance of showers. 64 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Hey guys, it's Woodrow from Mint Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED? Well, you are not alone. And now there's a real solution that treats the root cause, not just the symptoms. Introducing our trifecta approach, a breakthrough combination of acoustic wave therapy, hormone replacement, and cryotherapy, all designed to restore blood flow, boost performance, and rebalance your hormones. Whether it's ED or hormonal imbalance, if you're ready to reignite your love life, this treatment helps bring back your energy, your drive, and your confidence. And right now, when you call, you'll receive a free consultation, a blood flow ultrasound, and an intimacy gift. That's a $650 value, absolutely free. And here's the bonus. The next 20 callers will also receive a 5-night stay at a luxury resort in Hawaii just for taking the first step. But you must call now. With 2 convenient locations in Layton and Sandy, help is closer than you think. Call 801-804-8000 now. That's 801-804-8000. Mint Medical Clinic. We'll get you back to mint condition.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. It's officially Election Day here in Utah and around the country. It's not as big of an election day. Control of the White House and Congress will not be decided today, but there are still several interesting and important races that people are watching across the nation. Here in Utah, voters are casting their ballots on several key local races. Your voice, your vote. We begin today's Midday with special coverage. Let's start with an overview on today with KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera, who is live in Provo this hour. Eric, how are things looking?
Maria, things have been steady all day here at the Utah County Health and Justice Building. You've got people walking up to drop off their ballots, others heading inside to vote in person. Most of the people I talk to say they're here because local issues like schools, roads, and growth hit closest to home. Provo resident Caleb told me he hasn't missed an election since he turned 18.
I just have always voted in every election I've been eligible for since I turned 18. I think it's just important to be involved in your local community, especially like municipal, state elections. Those are the most important. Those have the most effect on our daily lives. And so I just think it's important to get out and vote. The people in your city council, the people in your state legislature, like they're making the decisions about your property taxes, your water, your electricity, your sales tax, and like what happens to the roads and just those things that really do affect you as on an everyday scale.
And that's the big theme today, Maria. Voters wanting to make sure their voices are heard where it matters most, right here at home. Reminder, polls close tonight at 8, and officials say as long as ballots are dropped off or postmarked by then, they'll count.
All right. Thank you, Eric. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera live in Provo. Let's get a quick check-in to see how things are going in Davis County. Joining me live on Midday is County Clerk Brian McKenzie. Brian, thanks for being with me.
Hey, great to be with you.
So tell us how things are shaping up so far in Davis County.
Well, our polling locations are pretty quiet. Not a whole lot of people are going in to vote in person, but a lot of people are coming through our drop boxes and dropping off their ballots. It's great to see people engaged and involved. Your last reporter was talking about how important these local races are for us here in the state. Folks are voting for their mayors, their city councils. They're voting for their sewer districts, their water districts. We also have here in Davis County a number of tax reauthorization questions that are out there. So a lot of important issues that impact us very directly on a daily basis.
So tell us a little bit more about those tax reauthorization issues.
Yeah, so a number of cities have their recreation, arts, and park tax. Sometimes it's referred to as a RAP tax. These are an additional percentage of sales tax that can be collected and then goes towards funding those recreational activities, your parks, maybe art events and things like that.
Okay, for those folks who have not delivered their ballots yet, or for those who still want to vote in person, where should they go?
Yeah, so a couple of things very important. Ballots must be turned in by 8 p.m. tonight. Postmark is irrelevant. Must be turned in by 8 p.m. tonight. You can go to any of our polling locations, to the drop boxes. Those are all listed on our website, daviscountyutah.gov. You can also find other polling locations if you're outside of Davis County. Go to vote.utah.gov, and you can find information on that website as well.
Brian, appreciate your time. Thanks for being with me. That is Brian McKenzie, the Davis County Clerk. One race that people have been keeping a close eye on is up in Weber County. It's the race for the first ever mayor of the new city of Ogden Valley. Let's check in on that and other races in Weber County with County Clerk Ricky Hatch. Ricky, thanks for being with me. Talk to us a little bit about the race in Ogden Valley and some of the other races you have going on.
Oh, it's exciting up in the Ogden Valley, picking their first mayor and city council. Turnout's been pretty brisk. They were at 36% turnout as of this morning. I suspect they will probably top 70% turnout today. So that's pretty exciting. We've got other exciting races. Ogden City Council has some good races going on. And we have high turnout in Marriott-Slaterville, which just has like 3,000 voters. And then Huntsville, which has less than 1,000 voters. Their turnout is quite high as well.
And tell us a little bit more about this race in Ogden Valley. First ever mayor, and has that been a controversial race?
You've seen there have been some signs that have been vandalized. There are lots of signs up in that beautiful place up there, and passions are running high. People care or care a lot about the incorporation, whether they should have or not. But that was passed last year by the voters, and the candidates themselves are doing great. They're being civil and working on it, but some of their supporters maybe are a little too ardent and sometimes take things beyond where they should.
Yeah, we don't often hear of new cities forming mayors. I mean, has it been a while for your area?
Yeah, I think the last city that was incorporated was probably about 20 years ago in Weber County. We've had 15 cities for as long as I can remember almost. And so, yeah, this is quite unusual. There just aren't too many other places to incorporate. I think we have one more area in the county that will incorporate into a city, and that's out west. And I suspect that'll come within the next 10 years.
Okay, if folks haven't voted yet or they haven't delivered their ballots, what do they need to know?
Make sure it's in our possession, either in a drop box or in our office by 8 p.m. This is crucial because we can't count the postmarks anymore. So we have to have it in our possession by 8 p.m. Don't wait until the last minute because a traffic jam or something could put you out of luck. So just make sure they're in. And, of course, if you have any questions, call our office and we'll be happy to help you. We also have in-person voting up in the valley as well as down here in Ogden at the Weaver Center. We've got about 150 people have voted in person so far today.
All right. I appreciate your time. Thanks for being with me. That is Ricky Hatch, the Weber County Clerk Auditor. In Salt Lake County, they're on pace for turnout or ballot return rate for a non-presidential election year. Clerk Lanny Chapman joined Inside Sources this morning.
So far we're we're really on par for a municipal year. We're a little bit above 21% turnout so far, and I'm seeing a lot being dropped off in drop boxes. While we're not going to see numbers like we did during a presidential year, that's not common just because of the nature of the type of elections they are.
Chapman reminds voters that there have been several deadline rule changes for this election. She says today it is too late to mail your ballot. Your ballot has to be delivered to your county clerk by 8 o'clock tonight. We can't say that enough. And that is a change from last year, thanks to House Bill 300, which passed during the last legislative session. Now, turnout for non-presidential elections is generally pretty low, but Chapman says it's important to remember that local elections are often much more impactful on your daily life than a presidential election. So if you are toying with the idea to not vote today because it's a quote-unquote small election, think again.
Well, it's important for people to vote, generally speaking, because we're a much better community when we're represented by people that represent us. And the easiest way to make sure that that happens is to vote, to have your voice heard, to make sure that we're voting for candidates that best align with what's important to us. This year, we have municipal and service districts on the ballot. Those are things that affect us as soon as we open our door, from garbage pickup and recycling to parks to, whether or not dogs are on leash or off leash, which roads, like local roads, get paved, police, firefighter resources, and frankly, the sewer system. That's on a lot of people's ballots this year.
Your voice, your vote. Stick with KSL News Radio throughout today and tomorrow as we cover the races here in Utah and across the country. For the latest results on Utah elections, go to kslnewsradio.com. Click on the bar at the very top of the homepage that says Election Results. After the break, we'll get a check-in on some of the more interesting national races being decided today. And later in the hour, a closer look at FDA guidance on fluoride supplements for your kids. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky?
And it is emergency traffic in Murray, northbound I-15, due to a multiple vehicle crash after 4500 south. Only 2 left lanes of traffic are open at this time. Crews are also blocking the exit ramp at the very top of the ramp to join the freeway. All traffic will have to merge suddenly over into those left lanes in order to get around it, and that's just adding to the backups reaching 53rd South. Wasatch Front businesses and property managers. Go Pave Utah provides all asphalt repairs for your parking. For patching and paving along the Wasatch Front, contact Go Pave Utah, gopaveutah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
This is a great time of year to really think about yourself and self-improvement. Do something nice for yourself, and if that means that you want to lose weight, I have a great program for you. It's called Salt Lake City Fat Loss. It's a great program because it's all natural, so you don't have to worry about any sort of side effects. And it's great because it's a special combination of foods that help burn off stored fat quickly, so you lose the weight very quickly. And wouldn't it be great to lose weight rather than gain weight over the holidays? You can just jumpstart that self-improvement before the first of the year. Their app is fantastic. So the thing I love about their app is it gives you a 1-minute inspirational video in the morning, and then whenever you have a question, you can check in with them. They give you recipes to make sure you're not bored with your food. I've lost more than 40 pounds. Many of their clients lose up to a pound per day. You can save $200 right now. Just call them at 801-450-1882 or go to slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Utah can count on.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I
I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Ebenezer Scrooge, you have yet a chance of escaping my fate. Ah, humbug. You still have time to get a Mountain America Rewards credit card and earn 3 times the points on every dollar spent, but only through the stroke of midnight on December 31st.
I suppose I can learn to enjoy the holidays with triple rewards.
Apply today and learn more at macu.com/triple.
Membership required based on eligibility. Loans on approved credit offer can change or be withdrawn at any time. Limited time offer. Business cards not eligible.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonihan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
As the temperature sinks a little lower and the wind blows a little harder, next thing you know, the winter cold is going to be seeping in through your old drafty windows. So now's the time to call Advanced Window Products for custom-crafted, state-of-the-art windows that'll seal up your house and cut your heating bill. Get on their schedule before winter, and not only do you get factory direct pricing far below what the big-name companies charged, but Advanced will knock an extra $2,500 off your quote. They'll create beautiful double-pane windows with insulated frames, any style, any color, and the security features to keep your family safe. You'll get a lifetime warranty from a local company in business here for 39 years. Financing? 60 months, 0%. Or even buy now, pay later. So make the call. Seal up the house for winter with $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. Your voice, your vote. Our Election Day coverage continues on Midday. Let's turn now to national races. ABC's Avery Harper sat down with Brad Milkey on the Start Here podcast and says overall, today's results will be the first kind of referendum on how Americans think President Trump and the Republican Party are doing.
I think it's really about the turnout, right? How excited are people to come out to the polls at a time where they're not voting for the president of the United States, right? This is going to be a referendum on this current administration. And we could see anti-Trump sentiment be a mobilizing factor.
We've had success like nobody, but for some reason, you lose the midterms. I don't know why.
When you look at these off-year elections, they could be an uphill battle for the party in power.
We have to win the midterms. Otherwise, all of the things that we've done, so many of them are going to be taken away by the radical left lunatics. I mean, we're going to end up with a communist mayor in New York. Can you believe it? A communist.
I wonder if the Democrats, beyond that anti-Trump sentiment and voting against Trump, if they're giving voters anything to vote for. There are folks that are trying to rebuild the Democratic Party after losses up and down the ballot in 2024. Are they going to figure out how to reach voters where they are? I think that remains to be seen.
So what races are happening across the country that you might be interested in?
In Virginia, Historically, whoever wins the White House during the presidential year, that party ends up losing in the governor's race in the off-year election the following year. And so that doesn't necessarily bode well for the Republican candidate in this race, Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears.
It is darkness for my opponent to have voted that a man could be undressing in a locker room with our girls.
She has really tried to lean into culture wars, things like parents' rights, education, trans issues, as she hopes to turn out Republicans to vote for her.
My opponent's only plan is solar and wind. Well, what happens when the sun goes down? There is nothing.
When you look at the other side of this race, it is former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger.
During the time that the lieutenant governor has been in office, the cost of buying a house has gone up 18%.
She, too, is centering issues of affordability.
The car tax is the most hated tax in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
There's a theme here, right? I think after 2024, we've seen all of these candidates really come back to kitchen table issues, the things that keep people up at night, as a means to try and mobilize voters to come out to the polls.
Especially in a place where there's government shutdowns impacting, I imagine, a ton of federal workers in a state like Virginia.
That is exactly what I was going to say. You know, in a place like Northern Virginia, where you have so many people who are impacted by the government shutdown, folks who have not received paychecks.
Senators Kaine and Warner, go do your job and get back to work. Get federal workers back to work.
But can I ask you real quickly, do you support President Trump's cuts?
I support whatever it takes to get Virginians back to work.
You know, on top of that, these folks are really close to the dysfunction that's happening in Washington.
We need a governor who will support the thousands upon thousands of Virginia's families whose livelihoods have been disrupted or destroyed because of DOGE and now this government shutdown.
We'll have to wait and see exactly what happens, but it's quite possible that voters could hold that against the Republicans on the ticket.
Another race many people are watching is the race for New York City mayor. The two frontrunners are both Democrats, but with very different views of how the Democratic Party should operate. Politicos have said that this race could shift the direction of the National Party, especially if the self-proclaimed Democratic Socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani wins.
New York City is not for sale to Donald Trump's billionaire donors.
You have Zohran Mamdani, a self-described democratic socialist.
I think we need to increase taxes in the top 1% by 2%.
Someone who could be the first Muslim mayor of the nation's largest city. He could be the second youngest mayor in New York's history and the youngest mayor since the 1890s.
Socialism hasn't worked anywhere.
And then you have Andrew Cuomo, former governor of New York, comes from a storied political family. He's saying that he is a common sense Democrat, someone who has ideas that he can actually execute.
This is not a job for a first-timer.
He is someone who resigned his post as governor amid accusations of sexual misconduct and sexual harassment. And then you have Republican Curtis Sliwa.
People know that I've been around for 46 years as leader of the Guardian Angels on talk radio for 35 years.
A known quantity to many New Yorkers, he's made public safety really the center of his campaign there.
And we must back the blue.
There's lots of excitement in this race, young voters in particular fueling Mamdani's double-digit win in the primary.
I will be your Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City.
And Cuomo's insistence on staying in the race, he's running on an independent line.
The Democratic Party is having a civil war. You don't hear it, you don't see it, but it's going on in this election.
If you look at polling across that race, we really see Mamdani leading in numerous polls as we head into Election Day.
An interesting thing with the mayoral race is that President Trump, a Republican, has told New Yorkers to vote for Democrat Andrew Cuomo, saying the Republican running in the race has no chance of winning. It's a shift from tradition where the president will usually back a candidate, any candidate really, within their own party. And then, of course, we have the Proposition 50 vote in California, all dealing with redistricting.
When you look at polling of Proposition 50, the yes campaign is ahead. So yes would allow for California to redraw its congressional maps in favor of Democrats throughout the state. That map creates as many as 5 pickup opportunities for Democrats across the state of California.
He's underwater in every key category. He knows he's going to lose the midterm elections, period, full stop. That's why he made the call to Greg Abbott saying he's entitled to 5 seats.
It's important to remember that this is highly unusual. Typically, we only see states redraw their congressional maps once a decade after a census or in response to some sort of court order. What we've seen this cycle is states really look at redrawing their maps for purely partisan political reasons, right? So you mentioned, places like Texas, Missouri, North Carolina, Ohio, all redrawing their maps, aiming to draw some pickup opportunities for Republicans as we head into the midterm year. But there are more opportunities for Republicans to redraw their maps in Republican-led states and create more pickup opportunities than there are for Democrats in blue states across the country. And so at least for now, even if California's yes campaign does win out, it still does not spell a very clear win for Democrats.
We'll continue to watch not only the races here in Utah, but the interesting and important races across the country. Updates on air and online at KSLNewsRadio.com. It's 1:30, midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Holiday travel is shaping up to be pretty dicey, especially if you're planning to fly. A new warning from the Transportation Secretary coming up. A local movement to make sure people don't forget about the hundreds of Utah cold cases. And KSL traffic, Ricky.
It is emergency traffic northbound I-15 due to a crash in Murray, blocking multiple lanes and causing delays back to the south interchange. Ricky, Maria?
Thanks, Ricky. Enjoy the nice temperatures near 70 for the next few days. Things changing big time on Thursday when the temperature will drop down into the 50s. It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Senate failing to pass a measure to reopen the government again today. The shutdown now at 35 days, tied for the record for the longest in U.S. history, both occurring during President Trump's first and second terms. The White House, though, blaming Democrats for dragging out the shutdown. When asked about the ongoing case to fully fund SNAP food assistance programs, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
The president does not want to have to continue to dip into a contingency fund that doesn't even have enough money, by the way, to fund the full program.
Americans who are facing challenges in the economy with food assistance, inflation, or being laid off are voting in local and state elections today. It includes key races for governor in New Jersey and Virginia. The FDA says Dreyer's Grand Ice Cream Company is recalling its Häagen-Dazs chocolate dark chocolate mini bars sold in 30 states due to concerns that the product may contain undeclared wheat, which could pose a hazard for those with wheat allergies. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. It's Election Day in Utah with municipal races on the ballots for most areas. If you got a mail-in ballot but didn't send it yet, you'll want to vote in person or take your ballot to a drop box in person to make sure that it's counted. Polls close at 8 o'clock tonight. We'll have live results updated in real time online at KSLNewsRadio.com. A Utah judge has ordered more prison time for a man convicted of raping 2 women before he allegedly faked his own death and fled to Scotland to avoid prosecution. Nicholas Rossi was ordered to serve 5 years to life in prison for raping a woman he dated in Orem back in 2008. That sentence will run back-to-back with another 5 years to life sentence for another rape case out of Salt Lake County. The victim in the Utah County case addressed the court before the sentencing today.
I felt frozen, numb, and completely broken, consumed by fear, confusion, and a deep sense of worthlessness.
To this day, Rossi claims he's innocent. He says he plans to appeal the sentencing. 2 teenagers were arrested at Highland High School yesterday, accused of bringing a gun on campus. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
Police say they responded yesterday afternoon after there were reports of possible shots fired at Sugar House Park.
Highland High School was placed on a standby status for around 20 minutes while officers investigated. Somehow, after that status ended, the gun made its way back into the building, and school officials called Salt Lake City PD to let them know they believe 2 of their students might have been involved. Police say they made the arrests after school was over.
Highland High School says one of the students arrested had a gun and the other had ammunition. Utah's professional rugby team will not return next year. The Utah Warriors have been playing for Major League Rugby for 8 years, but did not get the funding needed to continue. Utah Warriors CEO says all season ticket holders will be refunded within the next week. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow down by 261 points, a little bit more than 0.5%, sitting at 47,075. S&P down by 74 points, and the Nasdaq gets off by 441 points. That's nearly 2%. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Ricky, are we still in emergency traffic?
We certainly are. It's due to a crash with injuries involving a motorcycle and auto. This is northbound I-15, even though it looks like multiple vehicles are involved. This is in Murray. The crash occurred right about 4500 south and just after that. And they still have only 2 left lanes of traffic open. So 4 lanes are closed. That's 4 lanes out of 6 on that stretch of northbound I-15 in Murray. And that is what's causing the stop and go delays back to the south interchange. In addition to the main flow of the freeway, you also have the lanes at the top of the on-ramp to merge onto the freeway blocked. All traffic at the on-ramp, even though the on-ramp is still open, you're going to have to quickly make your way over into a center lane of travel. It's not easy, but it can be done. You just need to be pretty careful there. When you need the financial products and services for every stage of life, Cypress Credit Union is there for whatever the future holds. Visit cypresscu.com today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
High staying in the 70s for the next couple of days before the big change on Thursday, with the temperatures dropping into the 50s. And Thursday, our best chance of rain, a 30% chance on Thursday. 72 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Save $2,500 on a new furnace and air conditioner from Any Hour Services. For more information, call Any Hour Services or schedule a free estimate online at anyhourservices.com.
Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs may change, kids grow, new memes will come out. But also, what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you actually don't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need the most, that finds and fixes any issues before you even notice them. It's like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from threats online. Plus, you get incredible gaming speeds on multiple devices with no one battling for bandwidth. For the next 5 years, all your devices will be working in perfect harmony, and you get their best equipment with no annual contracts, no fees, no strings. So even though your kids will grow up and you still won't understand 6-7, your internet will stay sharp, reliable, and most important, the price will stay put. All with the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Airports across the U.S. are increasingly suffering from the stalemate as the government shutdown enters its 5th week. While the government is closed, some federal workers, including air traffic controllers, are forced to work without pay. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warned the department could be forced to shut down the airspace in certain parts of the country if the shutdown goes on for much longer.
If you bring us to a week from today, Democrats, you will see mass chaos, you will see mass flight delays, you'll see mass cancellations, and you may see us close certain parts of the airspace because we just cannot manage it because we don't have the air traffic controllers.
It's the latest development as airports around the country already see hours-long delays due to a lack of air traffic controllers and TSA agents. While they're supposed to work without pay right now, many are calling out sick. News Nation's Marcus Espinosa has more.
As far as the airline industry goes right now, still facing delays and cancellations across the country. A big part of that government shutdown ongoing right now, affecting air traffic controllers as well as TSA agents as they continue to work here without a paycheck. That keeps stressing them and the system as the FAA tries to manage this crisis right now with the number of people calling out sick simply because they're overworked, and then also the fact that they have a number of flights they have to manage at the same time. So let's take a look at numbers as far as cancellations and delays go so far. We have 50 delays at this point and 8 cancellations. Still very early in the day right now, but again, that can creep up. We were here just a couple of days ago, and that number climbed quite a bit there. On Sunday, FlightAware showed nearly 4,300 delays nationwide. Not all delays and cancellations are related to controller shortages, but still high numbers there. And Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy, who has been in front of a camera pretty much every single day, including on the weekend talk shows here, assured everyone it is safe to fly.
New Jersey's Newark Liberty International Airport has continued experiencing delays of 2 to 3 hours. Colleen Connor is a retired air traffic controller, and she tells ABC News that there was already a shortage before the current problem.
The certified professional controllers that are working are picking up the slack by working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. And this has been going on for several years, more than several years. The controllers are already fatigued. It's so difficult for an air traffic controller to remain 100% focused on what they're doing at work when they are being distracted by not knowing how they're going to put food on the table for their families.
Stephen Abram is another former air traffic controller who worked at JFK International Airport in New York City for more than 20 years, and he shared similar thoughts with ABC News.
Controllers have been working overtime, 6-day work weeks, 10-hour days for unfortunately a very long time. Add in the complexity of all of a sudden not getting paid, day 5 of a 6-day week, you're worried about paying your mortgage, you don't sleep at night. I wouldn't want that controller coming to work because you can't have a bad day at work as an air traffic controller. They all have to be good days.
He says the job of an air traffic controller is a difficult one and requires a lot of focus and brain power. So with the stress of not being paid, he says it's only making America's airspace more dangerous.
Controllers go to work every day and they have to make, 2, 3, 4,000 decisions, and they all have to be correct. It's an incredibly focused, task-oriented profession. You don't want the controller's mind wandering about, other personal problems. Not being able to pay your mortgage, not being able to pay your bills, wondering where the grocery bill, wondering where you're going to get food.
Like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, delays are already stacking up at major airports around the country, and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warns that the department could be forced to close down certain parts of American airspace if the shutdown goes on much longer. There's been quite a push across the country to stop adding fluoride supplements to local drinking water. You'll recall that the state legislature passed a law banning fluoride additives in Utah water last year, and the effort is a big part of the Make America Healthy Again push. But there's been concern from dentists and parents over getting access to fluoride. On Friday, the FDA gave an update on a process that they were working on that would have removed ingestible fluoride prescription drug products for children from the market. Today, the Utah Dental Association is sharing their reaction to the news. And joining me live on Midday is Dr. Darren Chamberlain, a pediatric dentist in Utah County and the American Dental Association delegate on the Utah Dental Association board. Doctor, thanks for being with me.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us, what is the UDA's response to this latest development?
Well, actually, we're very encouraged that this could have been a lot worse. The FDA had a hearing in July that was discussing removing all fluoride supplements from all pharmacies across the nation. And this ruling actually came out very heavily in our favor. We still have that option to be able to prescribe fluoride for children. And we're excited for the future and that we're able to continue to protect children's teeth by the use of fluoride.
So what is the Dental Association's guidance when it does come to fluoride?
Actually, I have a quote from the president of the American Dental Association, and he says that a doctor's clinical judgment, not a new warning label, should remain the guiding factor in determining appropriate fluoride use for children, ensuring both safety and access to essential oral health care. And we feel like that even though there is some guidelines, that fluoride has been shown to be effective and a very safe way of preventing cavities. And so we are going to continue to prescribe fluoride in very similar doses that we have, obviously after a consultation with the mother and making sure that it is appropriate for the child.
Is there, if kids don't take fluoride, are there other ways that their teeth can be protected? I mean, is there anything better than fluoride?
Well, the very best thing would be to not eat refined sugars and ultra-processed foods, right?
Right.
Bacteria need to have something to be able to create the cavities, and they eat the same thing that we are eating, and it creates this acid in our mouths that break down the teeth. But unfortunately, we don't live in that society, right? We live in a society that that is a staple of our diet, and so to be able to prevent cavities, this has been shown year after year after year for 90 years, the most effective way of preventing cavities.
Now, maybe you could explain what it does that helps prevent cavities.
It actually gets incorporated into the enamel and creates a layer that is harder than the natural enamel, and that's what prevents the cavity from progressing, and it will stop the progression of the bacteria into the teeth. And so this outside layer of the enamel is protective against an acid hit by the bacteria that are in our mouths.
Doctor, I appreciate your help. Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Dr. Darren Chamberlain, pediatric dentist in Utah County and ADA delegate on the Utah Dental Association board. Midday continues in just 30 seconds.
Utah Mammoth Hockey is back at Delta Center. Don't miss your chance to be part of the excitement as the Mammoth hit the ice all season long. Grab your friends, rally the family, and lock in your seats for the fast-paced, hard-hitting action. Great seats are available for most games, but they're selling fast. Head to UtahMammoth.com to get your tickets today. That's UtahMammoth.com. Your home for all things Mammoth hockey.
A push to not forget cold cases. It's the goal of a 3-day symposium hosted by the Larry H. Miller family. This comes after they had to deal with their own cold case for a decade, the murder of Sherry Black. Joining me now to talk more about this cold case summit is the executive director of the Sherry Black Foundation, Erin Ryan. Erin, thanks for taking some time to talk about this issue.
Thank you for having me.
So briefly talk about why talking about cold cases is so important to you.
Yeah, because for us, obviously we've been through an experience with the Miller family that was very challenging and realized that there's 253 other families in Utah waiting for answers. And this isn't an experience that there's a playbook for or a roadmap. And so we want to make sure that we're using our experience to help other families get the same kind of justice and progress and support that we feel really allows them to have a better experience.
How do you hope that this summit will help?
So we're really excited. This is the third conference we've done here in Salt Lake City. We've done several around the country, but when we bring 150 law enforcement officers together to learn about investigating, it's really exciting to watch the networking happen in the room where they're collaborating on their experiences and the investigations that they've been active in, along with these high-level experts that we've brought in as instructors. and you can see them being able to put solutions together on active cases on their desks. So for us, not only are we excited where this will go forward for cases, but they're recognizing solutions to cases that they've been kind of dwelling on or sitting with for decades at sometimes.
So maybe just a different way to look at those cases for each of them.
Exactly. They're all working hard, but a new perspective, a new tool, a new resource really can make a large difference in the progress of a case.
What do you hope the participants will walk away from with this event?
We're hoping they're leaving with a new tool. We talk a lot about the advancements in forensics and technology. We're also hoping that they're inspired that their work matters. It's hard to put yourself in their position every day in the darkest cases and stay optimistic and stay positive. And so we want them to be able to have that appreciation and support so that they're invigorated to keep doing the work they're doing.
Have you seen progress on some of these cold cases that you've been talking about?
Yes, absolutely. We actually presented 2 Utah cases today that were 52 years cold and unsolved that were solved this year due to advancements in technologies that were available for evidence that had been sitting on shelves. So definitely from these conferences, new techniques are applied to old cases, and we're seeing a lot of new cases be solved through those technology pieces, but we're also watching groups come together. We met with the Weber cold case team today who's attending, and they're doing great work to unpack some of their unsolved cases.
Erin, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you very much.
Live on the KSL Newsline, that is Erin Ryan, Executive Director of the Sherry Black Foundation. Major League Rugby being dealt a major blow today by the sudden closure of Utah's team. More on that in just a few minutes. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. The latest on this emergency traffic situation with Ricky Meese.
This is a crash on northbound I-15 in Murray, right about 4500 south and just after. It did involve a motorcycle, so it was a crash with injuries. Right now, they had been holding back all traffic on the main flow. The ramp is opening up. You can get by with all lanes open there. And they are opening up all lanes of travel, it looks like, except for one right lane. However, the delays are already in place, and they are solid, not quite back to 7200 South. Wasatch Front businesses and property managers. GoPave Utah provides all asphalt repairs for your parking. For patching and paving along the Wasatch Front, contact GoPave Utah. GoPave Utah. GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Every child deserves to feel safe, seen, heard, and loved. The Children's Center Utah helps make that possible. For more than 60 years, their expert team has provided life-changing mental health care for young children and their families. This care plays a crucial role when a child's development matters most, providing early intervention and the tools they need to thrive before a family faces significant crisis and expense. Addressing crucial mental, behavioral, and emotional concerns now. Today, the Children's Center Utah is expanding, bringing hope and healing to even more communities across Utah. This outreach will ensure greater access for more Utah children and their families. You'll hear more about it in the days and weeks ahead. In the meantime, if a child in your life needs support, the Children's Center Utah is here to help. Visit childrencenterutah.org to learn, give, or get involved. The Children's Center Utah, where hope and healing happen.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
At Common Spirit Health, we know that lifelong health and well-being starts with primary care. So we have doctors and providers who see you, hear you, know you, and understand you. Because understanding you means understanding your needs. And that leads to a deeper knowledge of the prevention, wellness, and treatment options that may be best for you. It's primary care that treats your whole family like family. It's primary care with human kindness. Discover all the ways you can find and connect with a primary care provider at mountain.commonspirit.org.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A big blow for rugby fans. The Utah Warriors rugby team is announcing that it's ending operations in the state and will not participate in the 2026 season. Warriors commentator Jared Danielson joined me to explain this last-minute change.
These are the growing pains of rugby in the USA, really, is what it is. The Warriors for 8 years led the way as kind of a rallying point for rugby in Utah and across the USA. And over the last 8 or 9 years, the struggles of the growth of the sport financially has really been the hurdle, because the product that the Warriors put on the field and the game day experience that the leadership team, starting with Kimball Kerr all the way down through his operations staff, put together was phenomenal, with playoff appearances and an entertaining brand of rugby and a fan experience that regularly was in the, top tiers of rugby in America. I think the last 2 years, 7 of the top 10 most attended rugby games were matches at Zions Bank Stadium with the Utah Warriors. That's how incredible the package was that they put together. Now, overall, I think there's a big hurdle for rugby in America. The first big hurdle for rugby in America is exposure. Fans need to get access to and learn the game, because it is incredibly exciting. It's fast-paced and constantly moving like soccer. It has all the aggression and violence that fans love about football. It has the potential to be high-scoring like a basketball game does. So it's everything that American audiences don't know they love yet. That's the first hurdle they got to get over, is fans just learning the game. The second major hurdle is a unified front to be able to present the proper product to get financing. And the governing body of USA Rugby and the managing partners of Major League Rugby are not on the same page. And USA Rugby has major financial struggles that it's dug itself into, and because it either can't or refused to get involved with Major League Rugby in any kind of significant way, there was no unified front internationally for rugby to present itself as a viable international marketing product, which is unfortunate because we have 2 Rugby World Cups coming to the United States that we're hosting, in the Men's Rugby Cup in 2031 and the Women's Rugby World Cup in 2032.
So tell me about the fans. How many fans had the Warriors amassed over the past few years, and what do they do now?
The rugby fans in Utah are the best rugby fans in the country, bar none. We averaged over 4,400 fans in Zions Bank Stadium per game, and it was absolutely fantastic to see. The history of rugby runs deep in Utah, going back to teams like Park City Haggis, who've been in existence for over 40, I believe, almost 50 years now. Of course, Highland Rugby has a storied franchise. United Rugby, Utah, and BYU both have incredible rugby programs. So there is a lot of grassroots rugby to still get involved with, to get behind and support growing the game. The high school rugby programs here in Utah are second to none almost across the country. Utah Youth Rugby does a really good job of exposing youth to the game and being able to allow them to experience the game that, players like myself have been able to enjoy for, 40 plus years. So there is an incredible grassroots rugby program that rugby fans can still go out and connect with, get your kids involved with, and really grow the game at the volunteer and youth level.
So, Jared, you mentioned the things that need to happen for rugby to be successful, but where does rugby in Utah go from here? Do you see it ever coming back, or the Warriors coming back?
I absolutely see it coming back, whether it's a reset or a rebrand. I don't know what it will be. You know, there's a lot of people over the last several decades that always talked about having a top-tier rugby competition in the United States. And what Kim Mulcair and the Utah Rugby Organization did was they stopped talking about it and they put action to words. And they really planted that flag as a leadership group that initially I was personally against. I didn't like what they were doing. And then I got on board and I saw all of the incredible things that they were trying to do and how well-intentioned they were for growing the game. And it was fantastic what they were able to do. I think it just became a situation where on the ledger sheet, it had to start making sense for investor groups. And whether it was the league that wasn't able to make the connection, or whether it was the support from USA Rugby, or whether it was support for the IRB, the International Rugby Board, in bringing new sponsors and investors into rugby in the United States, the dots weren't connected. You know, I think we are really close to having a long-term professional rugby competition in North America. If you look at countries like Japan, who have now had that for the better part of almost 20 years and where they are with it, and the major sponsorships behind it, and the huge payrolls and paychecks and the fan bases that they have that show up, 20,000 fans strong in the stadium. We're so close to being able to have that here in America, and specifically in Utah. I hope it comes back because the fans here deserve it. Warriors Nation, as we affectionately called them, and the fans here in Utah deserve to have that level of competition in rugby here.
The Warriors CEO has said that this isn't the end of rugby in Utah, and when it's time, he looks forward to welcoming professional rugby back to the state. In the next hour of Midday, we'll get another update on the SNAP benefits confusion. Stay with us, won't you?
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The Salt Lake County Council voting to continue moving ahead with plans to close county-run daycare centers.
I do know that this has been a very, very heated and difficult situation. If you were evaluating this on business alone, this business would have closed a long time ago.
The move coming despite emotional, passionate pleas from county residents.
So I plead, and I would please ask for you to reconsider closing the daycare programs that are a lifeline to so many of us.
The time is 2 o'clock on Tuesday, November 4th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, so what does this mean for families who currently use the centers? KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson will join us with a breakdown. Also this hour,
the administration is fully complying with the court order. I just spoke to the president about it. The recipients of these SNAP benefits need to understand it's going to take some time to receive this money.
Back and forth today on whether the White House would comply with the federal judge's order to fund SNAP benefits. But first, our top stories. Our top national story from ABC News, former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at 84 years old. His political career spanned decades. He was White House Chief of Staff for President Gerald Ford, Secretary of Defense under President George H.W. Bush, served as a congressman from Wyoming, and was President George W. Bush's vice president. More from ABC's Karen Travers in Washington.
After a stint as head of defense contractor Halliburton, Cheney returned to run George W. Bush's vice presidential selection committee and was selected himself.
The person who was best qualified to be my vice presidential nominee was working by my side.
After 9/11, Cheney was influential in formulating the U.S. response. The doctrine of preemptive action widened the war on terrorism from Afghanistan to Iraq.
Senator John Curtis reacting to the news, saying he's grateful for the many years of service that Cheney gave to his country. He led with conviction and strength through some of America's most defining challenges. Senator Mike Lee says, may God bless his family, the country he served for so many years, and all who mourn his passing. Taking a look at your money at this moment, at the close, the Dow down by 251 points. That's about 0.5%, sitting at 47,085. S&P down by 80 points, and the Nasdaq down by more than 2%, down 486 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Let's check that emergency traffic situation. Ricky?
The good news is all lanes of traffic are open now northbound I-15, where we had this accident at about 4500 south. What's left of the cleanup crew, they are out of traffic on the right shoulder, and the ramp, all lanes open to join the freeway and merge as normal. But the bad news is we still have residual delays. The worst speeds will go northbound I-15 from 7200 to 53rd south. After that, it's still heavy and slow from there to 45th. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Neeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Enjoy highs in the 70s for the next couple of days, dropping down into the 50s for Thursday. 30% chance of showers on Thursday and a 10% chance on Friday. 72 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today. 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. The other day I was reading an article, and it talked about the finest restaurants around the United States. And right at the very top of the list, it was Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. And I'm quoting now. They say, high-quality food in an atmosphere that is sure to impress. Isn't that the perfect description of Ruth's Chris Steakhouse? And here in the state of Utah, we have 2 locations. Hotel Park City, that's where Dee and I celebrated our anniversary the other night, and downtown Salt Lake City at 275 Southwest Temple. And at this time of year, it's not too early to call and make your reservations for a special holiday event or a corporate party, whatever it might be. And remember, too, everybody loves a gift card from Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. It is the best meal you will ever have. You're going to love your dining experience at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Strong feelings at the Salt Lake County Council meeting today about the closing of county-sponsored daycare programs. Parents were told last week the programs are slated to lose county funding at the end of the year, which left many families scrambling to find affordable child care. Joining me now live in studio is KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson. And Heather, what happened at the council meeting today?
Maria, the council heard emotional public comment from parents who were paying about $470 a month because they now have to look for private childcare that will likely be double or triple the cost, and on very little notice. Tana Winkler shared how upset she was at the council meeting, and she talked about how they're prioritizing other budget items over her child.
I'm a single parent. I don't have other options. But thank heavens we're going to have a mini golf course. I've heard I'm going to have to quit, but thank heavens we're going to have a golf course. I've heard we won't be able to afford food, but thank heavens we'll have a golf course. I won't be able to give my kids a Christmas, but thank heavens we'll have a golf course. This is going to take me an extra 10 years to buy a house, but thank heavens we have a mini golf course. So I plead. And I'm so sorry. I would please ask for you to reconsider closing the daycare programs that are a lifeline to so many of us.
She's just one of the many who spoke to the council today about how vital this subsidized childcare program is, especially in today's economy and for low-income or single-parent families.
So help people understand, what is the reasoning for closing these programs?
So Councilmember Lori Stringham kind of acknowledged this is a tough cut to make, but they had an analysis provided to the council, and it showed that it was not really a lucrative kind of business proposition. And as they're looking at ways to cut in the budget and this proposed property tax on the table, they've got to find a way to trim.
So then I either have to cut $7.4 million to cover those without raising taxes, or I have to look at really good programs or programs that aren't performing and cut those. And we have a report that says we have some issues with the daycare. I'm sorry, but that's what the report said very clearly. And we are not at capacity in any of the daycares. If they were so great, we would be at capacity. And so I do know that this has been a very, very heated and difficult situation. If you were evaluating this on business alone, this business would have closed a long time ago. If you were evaluating it as a government program that's effective, it would have closed a long time ago. So we've got some issues that we haven't worked through. And to throw that on the rest of us who are trying to do due diligence and make sure we're running good programs, making sure they're meeting some kind of metric and getting that information back is vital.
There was a motion on the table today to extend funding for the daycare programs until May. It would have given families more time to find other options and would have given the county more time to see if they could bring in outside funding sources to fill the gap. But that was voted down. So that means the 4 daycare programs in Kearns, Mill Creek, Magna, and Salt Lake City will still shut down at the end of the year as planned unless other changes are made to next year's budget.
All right, Heather. That is KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson joining me in studio. The White House is clarifying comments made from President Trump today about SNAP benefits, saying they will comply with the federal court order to use contingency funds to partially fund the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. ABC's Brad Milkey breaks down the developments in the Start Here podcast.
Yesterday, there was yet another twist in the SNAP funding saga. So remember heading into last weekend, there was lots of finger-pointing as food assistance was about to run dry for millions of families. Republicans say SNAP could be fully funded if Democrats simply vote to end the shutdown.
But all the Democrats have to do is say, let's go. I mean, they don't have to do anything. They don't have to agree. All they have to do is say, the government is open.
Well, Democrats say, hold on. You can actually fund SNAP right now, you know. There is emergency money out there, billions of dollars worth, for exactly this purpose.
Donald Trump, his administration, and corrupt Republicans on Capitol Hill are voluntarily and intentionally withholding SNAP benefits.
Well, yesterday, this all came to a head in federal court.
Over the course of a normal month, SNAP normally costs about $8.5 billion.
This is ABC's Peter Haralambous, who's been tracking a pair of federal lawsuits seeking to force the government to pay up.
A group of attorneys general, 25 different states, sued about this, and a coalition of small businesses, local governments, and community organizations that sued over concerns that the Trump administration was going to use this basically as political leverage.
This past weekend, a Rhode Island judge appeared to agree, saying it seemed clear that at least a few billion of these dollars should have been made available for SNAP recipients in November. Yesterday, in this hearing, the Trump administration said, okay, we'll do that.
They ultimately looked at this contingency fund for SNAP and were able to say, hey, we'll use this $4.5 billion to keep it funded. But that's only half of what's required.
That's right. The official position of the White House is, yes, there's enough to give partial payments to 42 million people. And that's where it gets complicated. These funds will not be available in a snap.
Beyond the fact that this is half the money they need, there's also a problem with how long it will take to actually administer this.
In this filing, the Trump administration warned that it could take weeks, if not months, to get this money out after adjusting for these partial payments for all these different states who use different systems. And again, the complaint from Democrats is the federal government could still be doing more. There's $23 billion sitting at the Agriculture Department right now. Republicans say, listen, since you're refusing to pass a clean funding bill, we've got to be the penny pinchers here. We have to decide which programs get funded.
The Trump administration said that they're declining to actually use that money because they'd rather use it for child nutrition programs. So, that immediately sparked some backlash from Democratic senators who said, you're intentionally not funding this kind of critical program that keeps, 40 million Americans fed, to use it as political leverage when there clearly is enough money laying around to keep it paid through November.
So, what does this all mean if you're on SNAP? Well, Peter says for a few weeks, this will be a victory in name only.
It could be mid-November, could be Thanksgiving or later by the time you actually see this money. And at that point, we confront the question of what's going to happen in December, what's going to happen in January if this shutdown continues.
Regardless of how much money the administration gives SNAP, this is it. Until the government reopens, the administration says they won't have any additional funds to give SNAP recipients. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Friday, join KSL News Radio and NPS from 10 to 1 as the movie show stops by. Then browse and uncover what makes NPS so great. With 4 locations, NPS takes in new inventory every day. Then they check all competitors' retail pricing before marking items down 20 to 70% off. So you're invited to visit the movie show Friday 10 to 1. And that's the first step to discovering NPS. Visit npsstore.com to begin your own NPS adventure. npsstore.com.
Attention Jazz Nation. The long wait is finally over. Mountain basketball is back and better than ever. Let's go! All tickets are on sale now, and you won't want to miss the action. Jump on the opportunity to watch your favorite players live and in person. Whether you're after season tickets, mini plans, or single game matchups, the Utah Jazz has got your back. There's a plan for every fan. Don't miss out. Secure your seats today and be part of the excitement all season long. Let's go! Visit UtahJazz.com today.
Delta Airlines is expanding its presence in Salt Lake City again, not in gate numbers, but in cargo. The airline announcing plans to develop a new cargo hub at the airport. I spoke with Leo Malloy, Director of Cargo Operation for North America at Delta Airlines, to find out more on the project and how they'll work with the Inland Port Authority.
It's a former Postal Service facility that they had on the grounds of Salt Lake City. And it gave us the opportunity, as we're looking at expanding overall our footprint. Their location was great, and the square footage was significantly larger than our existing one. So what we're doing is, in essence, taking the shell of the USPS building, enlarging it in ways that we need to do it, and having, at least for Delta in North America, it'll be the most state-of-the-art facility that we have, both from a customer perspective as well as the truckers that bring the cargo in for us and our employees. So we are thrilled. It's a rare opportunity, and I think Delta, we have a reputation of being nimble and taking advantage of opportunities when we see them, and this is a perfect example of that because it was one that USPS was kind of walking away from, but a great opportunity for us.
So describe for us how you will be working in partnership with the Utah Inland Port Authority.
Well, we've worked with them very closely on the financing and the agreements that really allow us to take on this facility. There's ongoing partnerships where I know that they have been key in trying to get new business into Salt Lake City. We, as you know, have just recently launched our Incheon operation, and then we'll actually be doing temporarily for a few weeks in the winter, we'll be doing nonstop Lima out of Salt Lake City. And all of those have been in partnership and coordination with the airport authority there. But they've been excellent for us to work with, and we really do have a great partnership and see that how our growth in Salt Lake City it's a win-win for both them and for us and the community, frankly.
The chair of the Utah Inland Port Authority has called this a real game changer. Can you help us understand how that really changes things for them?
So we now have trucking operations, and we'll expand those from Salt Lake City to other major cargo destinations, Dallas, Fort Worth, Denver, Colorado, being two large ones. Prior to this facility and the international service that we're flying into there, we would have been fairly limited in how we can get that cargo to these other destinations. So, for example, we would have been flying at times into LA or into, frankly, Atlanta to truck to Dallas. So having Salt Lake City, both from a positioning a little deeper in the country from Los Angeles, gives us really good visibility to some of these other locations that have a need and have expressed interest in cargo overall, but for us, Delta cargo. So the growth of the facility, the size of it is critical for us. But then the other piece is we'll have expanded cooler capabilities, which will allow us to move some of the most important pharmaceuticals and things like that to and from Salt Lake City.
The new facility is scheduled to open sometime in 2027. Ensuring students of color get the appropriate access to mental health resources. I'll tell you more about this push after the break. But first, it's KSL Traffic, brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape, Ricky.
We are looking so much better on northbound I-15 going from Midvale through Murray. We still have some leftover busy traffic, especially as you're approaching the earlier crash site at about 4500 South. So it's busy and a little slow at that spot and a little bit behind that, but none of the stop-and-go delays that we once had. Attention Wasatch Front businesses and property managers. Don't wait for bad weather to schedule professional snow service with GoPave Utah. Your complete parking lot safety starts with GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
This holiday season, won't you help us by bringing joy to a young child? It begins with the Children's Center Utah's Hope and Healing online fundraiser. Now through Thursday, your donations will support essentials for therapeutic work, including tools, play materials, books, and art supplies, so children can better express emotions and heal. Your contributions will be vital. Local foundations and individuals are matching donations so that every gift will have maximum impact. It's 90 hours of giving to raise $90,000, which will provide 90 children with 4 sessions of family therapy. You can even make your gift in honor or in memory of a loved one or family member. Plus, the giving doesn't end when the 90 hours are over. The Children's Center Utah welcomes donations of winter clothing, diapers, and formula to support basic needs for families who struggle to afford essentials during these holiday months. Visit childrenscenterutah.org. Help a family this holiday season. The Children's Center Utah, where hope and healing happen.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
You know what? I think the holidays are the worst time of year for your furnace to go out.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and every November it feels like people get extra stressed when faced with the need to replace their furnace. The money they've been saving is supposed to go to Christmas, and now they're faced with a choice: Christmas or comfort. This holiday season, Any Hour Services wants to help alleviate some of that stress with our special holiday financing. No money down and no payments until next year. Plus, if you schedule a free estimate before the end of November, Any Hour Services will give you $2,500 off any full system you buy. And that doesn't even factor in the rebates and incentives you might qualify for. Again, during the month of November, Any Hour Services will give you $2,500 off any furnace and air conditioner you buy. And you can take advantage of our special holiday financing with no money down and no payments until next year. For more details, call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Higher taxes, soaring inflation, record low interest rates, and the skyrocketing cost of healthcare. The list goes on. Retiring successfully today is a lot more complicated than ever before. Learn how you can tackle the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement today. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio. It's this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL, News Radio 1027.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. We are streaming on the KSL News Radio app, sponsored by At Your Service Pros. Newly passed laws from the Utah legislature delivering some challenges for mental health professionals and educators. This week, a Salt Lake City Summit is bringing together those folks to discuss how to best deliver mental health services among those challenges. The Black Mental Health and Education Summit is aimed at creating strategies to address barriers and gaps in supporting Black students. Licensed marriage and family therapist Gregory Noel tells me it's important for the individuals who work face-to-face with young people every day to find the best ways to help them with their challenges.
Even before this legislation, students were having certain experiences within the school system, and specifically, a lot of our Black and brown students were having certain experiences, and they were less likely to share those experiences because it's sort of like a strength in numbers. And unfortunately, a lot of our Black and brown students within the school systems don't have a lot of numbers. So when certain incidences would happen where, they're being labeled with stereotypes or certain things like that, they wouldn't share. They wouldn't go to their teachers. They wouldn't go to administration, because oftentimes what they've experienced is like, well, it's not meant that way, or you're taking it wrong, or, toughen up, have some tough skin. So I think that this legislation only further reinforces those messages that cause our students to internalize these experiences. And unfortunately, them being internalized can manifest in self-destructive behavior patterns such as self-isolation, and then unfortunately more exacerbated symptoms such as self-harm, suicidal ideation, and the list goes on and on. So that's some of our concerns as professionals, is that we're creating a potential outcome of further silence and further not sharing of these terrible experiences that they're having.
As mental health professionals, how do you hope to bridge that gap? I mean, what kind of strategies can you put in place to make sure that these students are getting the help that they need?
That's why we want to meet with the educators, because we are very aware that especially HB 281 is restricting our direct presence within the school systems as mental health professionals. And I can read some of it to you. It says, HB 281 restricts discussions on systemic racism, implicit bias, and certain elements of U.S. history in classrooms. This has led to curriculum censorship, suppression of identity-affirming dialogue, and a chilling effect on educators of color. So what we're seeing with HB 281 specifically is that at the end of the day, there are certain conversations that are not allowed to be had. There are certain professionals that are being barred or restricted from being in the school system because at the end of the day, there's a fear of there being certain biased rhetoric or dialogue that goes against our present day administration and things, the way in which our society is headed in. So for me as a mental health professional, I'm not trying to pretend that our students do not need these resources. I'm trying to work within the framework of these current, legislation, and to say these resources are very invaluable to the well-being of our students. How do we work around these legislations so our students get the services and get the care and have the opportunity to continue to thrive and flourish within these environments, regardless of these restrictions that are being placed by these recent legislations?
All right. Anything that you'd like to add that you think I need to know?
I would just love to encourage us to continue to be aware of these legislations and to see what we can do as a community to continue to show up and support one another. I look at what's happening on a larger social political scale, and I think there's a reality that's hard to talk about, especially for those of us who were directly impacted by what's going on the larger social political scale. And I think it's important for us to be able to say what's going on, how long has it been going on, and how does it directly impact our community? And when I say our community, it's our neighbors, the people that we see within our schools, the people that we see within our local grocery stores. It's important for us to have that level of conscious awareness. And then what we do with that conscious awareness is what is our concerted action to work around these limitations, these restrictions that have been put down in our society. And I believe that's what the Black Mental Health and Education Summit is all about, is to say, we're in it, we're living it. We can't change what's happening right now in this society, but what we can do is to say, how do we keep showing up for each other in meaningful and, I would say compassionate and empathetic ways that show that the community, the people, we're bigger than these legislations, than these restrictions.
Gregory Noel is a licensed marriage and family therapist and the clinical director of Two Brothers Counseling. You can learn more information at focalpointout.com/summit. It's 2:30, midday at KSL News Radio. Some of the stories we are watching this hour, your voice, your vote. We have special Election Day coverage looking at some of the interesting races around the state. Charlie Kirk's widow calling for cameras and live streaming to be allowed in the trial of accused killer Tyler Robinson. And KSL traffic.
The final cleanup of a crash northbound I-15 45th South in Murray. Maria?
KSL's top local stories coming up in 1 minute. It's 2:30. The Salt Lake County Council has voted against extending funding for its daycare programs despite a lot of public comment today. Last week, families at county-sponsored daycare programs were informed that the centers will shut down at the end of the year. Today, a proposal was on the table to fund it through May to give families more time to find alternatives. But the majority of council members, including Councilmember Laurie Stringham, voted it down.
If they were so great, we would be at capacity. And so I do know that this has been a very, very heated and difficult situation. If you were evaluating this on business alone, this business would have closed a long time ago.
Stringham says it would save the county a lot of money and potentially offset a proposed property tax increase to close these underutilized programs. A Utah judge has ordered more prison time for a man convicted of raping 2 women before he allegedly faked his own death and fled to Scotland to avoid prosecution. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has more.
A judge has sentenced Nicholas Rossi to 5 years to life in prison for raping a woman he previously dated in Orem back in 2008. The judge ordered that sentence to run consecutively to the 5 years to life sentence he received in a separate rape case in Salt Lake County the same year. The victim in the Utah County case addressed the court before the sentencing today.
I felt frozen, numb, and completely broken, consumed by fear, confusion, and a deep sense of worthlessness.
Rossi also addressed the court, maintaining his innocence.
These women are lying, and that what they have done is unjust.
Rossi was investigated for other alleged crimes in other states before police located him in Scotland in 2022. There, he denied being Nicholas Rossi, but rather claimed to be an Irish orphan named Arthur Knight. He He was eventually extradited back to Utah to stand trial for both rape cases. He was convicted in both of them. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment, the Dow down by 251 points at the close. That's about 0.5%, sitting at 47,085. S&P down by 80 points. The NASDAQ down by more than 2%, down 486 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Here's Ricky Meese.
What's left of the earlier crash northbound I-15 in Murray at 45th South that brought traffic to a standstill in Salt Lake County is in the final clearing stages, and it's out of traffic on the shoulder. If you're headed southbound I-15, it's a little busy and slow at the South Interchange into Midvale. #1 best-selling author Richard Paul Evans' new book, The Christmas Stranger, is now on sale. Critics are calling it one of the best. Get your copies of The Christmas Stranger today. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Enjoy the 70s. They're not sticking around here today and tomorrow, but Thursday dropping down into the 50s for a high and a 30% chance of showers. 72 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Hi friends, Dan the Laptop Man here from PC Laptops. In celebration of over 32 years of serving humans in Utah with their computer and tech needs, we've slashed our prices. And these are the new 2025 models. Here's the deal. You can get our new 2025 S1 desktop with a blazing Ryzen 5 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing fast storage on this promotion. We also have our new 2025 SM3 laptop with the Intel i5 processor, 16 gigs, and over a terabyte of storage for $999. You can take one home today for $999. And you also get the peace of mind of our lifetime service warranty. We also have 12 months special financing available, and they start as low as $29 a month. But hurry in because supplies are limited. Because at PC Laptops, we love you. PCLaptops.com. Take home a blazing fast 2025 model desktop or laptop for $999 at PCLaptops.com.
It all started with a commitment to comfort. Gillette Heating and Air is proud to be Utah County's go-to team for expert HVAC and plumbing solutions. Need a repair, upgrade, or seasonal tune-up? Don't let cost hold you back. With 0% financing available, it's easy to get the work done now and pay later. Plus, save $100 on any repair over $500 and keep your system running strong with a professional tune-up before the heat hits. Visit GilletteHVAC.com or call 385-GET-COOL to book today. Homegrown service pros, financing made simple, comfort made easy.
Carrier, turn to the experts. A Carrier factory authorized dealer.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. It's officially Election Day here in Utah and around the country. It's not as big of an election day. Control of the White House and Congress won't be decided today, but there are still several interesting and important races people are watching across the nation. Here in Utah, voters are casting their ballots on several key local races. Your voice, your vote. We have special coverage. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is in Utah County tracking the turnout down there.
Things have been steady all day here at the Utah County Health and Justice Building. You've got people walking up to drop off their ballots, others heading inside to vote in person. Most of the people I talk to say they're here because local issues like schools, roads, and growth hit closest to home. Provo resident Caleb told me he hasn't missed an election since he turned 18.
I just have always
voted in every election I've been eligible for since I turned 18. I think it's just important to be involved in your local community, especially like municipal, state elections. Those are the most important. Those have the most effect on our daily lives. And so I just think it's important to get out and vote. The people in your city council, the people in your state legislature, like they're making the decisions about your property taxes, your water, your electricity, your sales tax, and like what happens to the roads and just those things that really do affect you as on an everyday scale.
And that's the big theme today, Maria. Voters wanting to make sure their voices are heard where it matters most, right here at home. Reminder, polls close tonight at 8, and officials say as long as ballots are dropped off or postmarked by then, they'll count.
That is KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera. Let's move up the Wasatch Front to Davis County. How are things looking up there? Last hour, I spoke with County Clerk Brian McKenzie.
Well, our polling locations are pretty quiet. Not a whole lot of people are going in to vote in person, but a lot of people are coming through our drop boxes and dropping off their ballots. It's great to see people engaged and involved. Your last reporter was talking about how important these local races are for us here in the state. Folks are voting for their mayors, their city councils. They're voting for their sewer districts, their water districts. We also have here in Davis County a number of tax reauthorization questions that are out there. So a lot of important issues that impact us very directly on a daily basis.
So tell us a little bit more about those tax reauthorization issues.
Yeah, so a number of cities have their recreation, arts, and park tax. Sometimes it's referred to as a RAP tax. These are an additional percentage of sales tax that can be collected and then goes towards funding those recreational activities, your parks, maybe art events and things like that.
Okay, for those folks who have not delivered their ballots yet, or for those who still want to vote in person, where should they go?
Yeah, so a couple of things very important. Ballots must be turned in by 8 p.m. tonight. Postmark is irrelevant. Must be turned in by 8 p.m. tonight. You can go to any of our polling locations, to the drop boxes. Those are all listed on our website, daviscountyutah.gov. You can also find other polling locations if you're outside of Davis County. Go to vote.utah.gov, and you can find information on that website as well.
One race that people have been keeping a close eye on is up in Weber County. It's the race for the first ever mayor of the new city of Ogden Valley. County Clerk Ricky Hatch shared updates on that and other races in Weber County.
Oh, it's exciting up in the Ogden Valley, picking their first mayor and city council. Turnout's been pretty brisk. They were at 36% turnout as of this morning. I suspect they will probably top 70% turnout today. So that's pretty exciting. We've got other exciting races. Ogden City Council has some good races going on. And we have high turnout in Marriott-Slaterville, which just has like 3,000 voters. And then Huntsville, which has less than 1,000 voters. Their turnout is quite high as well.
And tell us a little bit more about this race in Ogden Valley. First ever mayor, and has that been a controversial race?
You've seen there have been some signs that have been vandalized. There are lots of signs up in that beautiful place up there, and passions are running high. People care or care a lot about the incorporation, whether they should have or not. But that was passed last year by the voters, and the candidates themselves are doing great. They're being civil and working on it, but some of their supporters maybe are a little too ardent and sometimes take things beyond where they should.
Yeah, we don't often hear of new cities forming mayors. I mean, has it been a while for your area?
Yeah, I think the last city that was incorporated was probably about 20 years ago in Weber County. We've had 15 cities for as long as I can remember almost. And so, yeah, this is quite unusual. There just aren't too many other places to incorporate. I think we have one more area in the county that will incorporate into a city, and that's out west. And I suspect that'll come within the next 10 years.
Okay, if folks haven't voted yet or they haven't delivered their ballots, what do they need to know?
Make sure it's in our possession, either in a drop box or in our office by 8 p.m. This is crucial because we can't count the postmarks anymore. So we have to have it in our possession by 8 p.m. Don't wait until the last minute because a traffic jam or something could put you out of luck. So just make sure they're in. And of course, if you have any questions, call our office and we'll be happy to help you. We also have in-person voting up in the valley as well as down here in Ogden at the Weaver Center, we've got about 150 people have voted in person so far today.
That is Weber County Clerk Ricky Hatch. Your voice, your vote. Stick with KSL News Radio throughout today and tomorrow as we cover the races here in Utah and across the country. For the latest results on Utah elections, go to kslnewsradio.com and click on the bar at the very top of the homepage that says Election Results. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Great workout, huh? Hey, do you want to grab some lunch?
I'd love to, but I'm doing one of those detoxes, so I'm only allowed to drink this green stuff all day.
Actually, I'm doing a detox too, but I don't have to drink that.
Wait, what? What detox are you on?
It's called Active Liver, and it's a natural tablet with herbs that support my liver and help me detox daily, all year long. No special diets, no prescription required, no starvation, and no green stuff. I'm feeling amazing, sleeping better, and have so much more energy. And my digestion's never been better.
Active Liver, huh? I'm gonna pick some up right now, on our way to lunch.
We ask a lot of our liver, so give it the support it deserves with an easy daily detox from Active Liver. Made with natural ingredients like turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke, Active Liver helps cleanse and protect your liver so you feel less bloated and more energized. Find Active Liver online at Amazon, Vitacost.com, or iHerb.com. Or pick it up today at CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite. When your liver is happy, your body is happy. Enjoy life to the fullest with Active Liver.
The widow of murdered political activist Charlie Kirk is pushing for cameras and live streaming to be allowed in the courtroom during the trial of accused killer Tyler Robinson. Erica Kirk joined Jesse Waters in a Fox News exclusive to talk more about the aftermath of her husband's death.
The defense wants to ban cameras in the courtroom. How do you feel about that?
There were cameras all over my husband when he was murdered. There have been cameras all over my friends and family mourning. There have been cameras all over me, analyzing my every move, analyzing my every smile, my every tear. We deserve to have cameras in there. Why not be transparent? There's nothing to hide. I know there's not, because I've seen what the case is built on. Let everyone see what true evil is. This is something that could impact a generation and generations to come.
Utah law allows the media to broadcast public courtroom proceedings, but only after the presiding judge has approved the request. The full interview between Jesse Waters and Erica Kirk will air tomorrow on Fox News Channel. Known for his strong stance on defense, former Vice President Dick Cheney was beloved by the right. The 46th Vice President of the United States passed away overnight after complications from pneumonia. ABC's Karen Travers has more on his life and the legacy he left behind as one of the country's most outspoken vice presidents.
Dick Cheney was called the force behind President George W. Bush, a notoriously silent but powerful VP who became an outspoken defender of the Bush administration and an ardent critic of President Obama.
When they've made all the decisions they've had, close Guantanamo, end the high-value detainee program and so forth, I think those are all mistakes.
He was beloved by conservatives and vilified by the left, compared to a Star Wars villain.
They wouldn't call me Darth Vader for nothing.
He was known for his increasingly conservative views on nearly everything but gay rights, perhaps because he had a gay daughter. Richard Bruce Cheney was born in 1941 in Lincoln, Nebraska. He grew up in Casper, Wyoming, and married Lynn Ann Vinson in 1964. Cheney first arrived in Washington in 1969 to work for President Nixon's chief of staff, Donald Rumsfeld, before replacing his mentor in 1975. When Jimmy Carter defeated President Ford, Cheney returned to Wyoming, ran for Congress, and served 5 terms until President George H.W. Bush asked him to serve as Secretary of Defense. After a stint as head of defense contractor Halliburton, Cheney returned to run George W. Bush's Vice Presidential Selection Committee and was selected himself.
The person who was best qualified to be my vice presidential nominee was working by my side.
After 9/11, Cheney was influential in formulating the U.S. response. The doctrine of preemptive action widened the war on terrorism from Afghanistan to Iraq.
We have a further responsibility to help keep the peace of the world and to prevent the terrorists and their sponsors from plunging the world into horrific violence.
He faced challenges in and out of the White House, shooting a campaign contributor in the face during a 2006 quail hunt. And a year later, watching his former chief of staff, Louis Scooter Libby, convicted of obstruction of justice and perjury. President George W. Bush later commuted Libby's sentence. Cheney's daughter Liz was one of the 10 Republicans who voted to impeach former President Trump for his role in the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol. Dick Cheney came to the Capitol on the first anniversary of that horrific day. Though a political lightning rod, Cheney will be remembered by his allies as a man who served his country with conviction. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
No word yet on memorial services, but we expect to learn more in the coming days. If you're trying to get the upper hand on holiday shopping, you might be tempted to get some help from artificial intelligence. But is it actually helping you save time and money? KSL investigator Matt Gephardt tests it out next. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by Mountain America. Turn everyday spending into an extraordinary escape. Let's check in now with Ricky Meese. Ricky?
For those who are traveling northbound I-15, the crash at 45th South pretty much cleared. We're just waiting for the tow truck to roll away, but it's southbound I-15 where traffic is already filling in and slowing down between 53rd and 72nd South. Celebrate the holidays with the Utah Symphony starting Thanksgiving weekend. Sing along to the Hallelujah Chorus. Hear the angelic voices of Celtic Woman and much more. Visit utahsymphony.org/holidays. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa, that's like farmer's market money.
That's like give me a gallon of that locally sourced raw honey money.
That's certified organic heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
That's let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out, because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster mushroom. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Ebenezer Scrooge, you have yet a chance of escaping my fate.
Ah, humbug.
You still have time to get a Mountain America Rewards credit card and earn 3 times the points on every dollar spent, but only through the stroke of midnight on December 31st.
I suppose I can learn to enjoy the holidays with triple rewards.
Apply today and learn more at macu.com/triple.
Membership required based on eligibility. Loans on approved credit offer can change or be withdrawn at any time. Limited time offer. Business cards not eligible.
This holiday season, won't you help us by bringing joy to a young child? It begins with the Children's Center Utah's Hope and Healing online fundraiser. Now through Thursday, your donations will support essentials for therapeutic work, including tools, play materials, books, and art supplies, so children can better express emotions and heal. Your contributions will be vital. Local foundations and individuals are matching donations so that every gift will have maximum impact. It's 90 hours of giving to raise $90,000, which will provide 90 children with 4 sessions of family therapy. You can even make your gift in honor or in memory of a loved one or family member. Plus, the giving doesn't end when the 90 hours are over. The Children's Center Utah welcomes donations of winter clothing, diapers, and formula to support basic needs for families who struggle to afford essentials during these holiday months. Visit childrencenterutah.org. Help a family this holiday season. The Children's Center Utah, where hope and healing happen.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where a small box with a burgundy bow will help you win the holidays. As an in-house designer, I love creating meaningful, fine jewelry gifts. Choose a necklace with a gorgeous infinity charm to symbolize your everlasting love. Or go for a personalized piece with an engraving, their zodiac sign, favorite color gemstone, or their initial accented with pave diamonds, because a friend wants you to be a holiday hero. Stop by or shop now at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The city of Mill Creek has picked its second mayor ever. Sherry Jackson has been serving on the city council for several years now. Jeff Silvestrini has served as mayor since Mill Creek became a city, but announced his retirement a few months ago due to health concerns. Last night, the city council interviewed several candidates and eventually chose Jackson. While she's a member of the city council, she did not participate in the decision. Jackson tells inside sources that she wants to continue the legacy set by Mayor Silvestrini while also charting her own path for the city.
So we have started working on our Mill Creek Common Phase 2. We want to keep moving forward with that project because it's been such a great amenity for our city. It's also an economic driver, and it's a housing opportunity. There's a lot of housing units that have been approved for that area. So we want to see that come to fruition and be built out as we've envisioned it. Housing is a big issue. We're all concerned about the cost of housing and the availability of housing in our valley and throughout the state and the nation as a whole. So continuing to find ways to add more housing to a built-out city is tricky. And it's a little bit of an issue, too, and residents really are happy with their city. They don't want to see a lot of changes, but yet change is inevitable and growth is necessary to accommodate the number of people who live in our city and live in our valley. So kind of finding creative ways to address that housing shortage and need is really important. And we're getting a lot of pressure from the state. Governor Cox has said, if cities aren't more proactive in permitting housing, we may lose our zoning authority, which quite honestly would be tragic. We're the ones who live here and are familiar with our cities. We're familiar with our streets and neighborhoods, and we know where housing density is best to be placed. And so we really want to maintain that authority. So being able to do that and be nimble and creative so we can fill the need is important. Another big issue, too, is with the federal government shutdown. We have a lot of grants that we've had applied for, been awarded, but haven't necessarily got the funding yet to help with infrastructure improvements. We've had grants for our after-school programs, things that are really necessary for our city. So we're trying to find ways to still fulfill those obligations and take care of the things we feel are important while maybe not receiving the money that we had anticipated as we envisioned those programs. So those are some of the first challenges right now, and really just kind of getting in and continuing moving forward with the vision that we've established as a city council, along with input from Mill Creek residents, and just making sure that there's no gap, right, that we keep the momentum that we've had going for the past 9 years and just keep moving forward.
Jackson will be sworn in as mayor on Monday, November 10th. Many Americans are tightening the belt right now. Lots of economic uncertainty, but with the holidays right around the corner, you might be wondering how you can provide nice gifts for your family. Many tech experts have said that this is the perfect opportunity to use artificial intelligence to help you find the best deals. KSL investigator Matt Gebhardt decided to test it out himself to find out if AI can actually help you stay on budget.
Here comes Santa Claus. Santa may know everything that there is to know about kids and gift giving, but what about the rest of us? KSL producer Sloan Schrag and I are snooping around my kids' bedrooms.
This is the hardest one.
Looking for inspiration. What might they want for Christmas? After a few minutes, we have a few ideas.
Oh, that's the new Taylor Swift.
But we could use some help.
AI tools are really helpful when you're buying gifts.
We turned to shopping expert Trey Bodge of TrueTrade.com. She is high on AI.
It will give you age-appropriate suggestions within your budget.
And according to Clavio, 54% of consumers plan to use AI this holiday shopping season for comparing prices, searching for products, summarizing reviews, and receiving tailored recommendations.
All right, Elf, let's do it. It's Mr. Elf to you.
All right, let's begin with arguably the biggest name in AI, ChatGPT.
Let's start by making a list. Okay. And checking it twice. Very nice.
We give the bot a few prompts, 3 kids, a few details of each, age, gender, general likes. Speaking of budget, let's say 4 presents each and what?
I think $250 is a fair amount for a kid for Christmas. Okay. Yeah.
Hit enter, and to the bot's credit, it took its time. We watched for several seconds as it told us it was scouring sources for ideas and prices and whatnot. Eventually, it gave us this fairly comprehensive list.
The price is right on for that one. Let's just check a couple of these.
Sloan and I agree this is a pretty good tool to help keep Santa on budget. But what if Santa wants to come in under budget? Well, that is where Amazon's Rufus really shines, says Bodge.
You can say, is there a comparable product from another brand or at a lower price?
As I played around, I found that Amazon was not always the cheapest on this day in October, but I've got lots of time till Christmas and prices fluctuate. All right, this is all great if you have time to wait for prices to drop or for products to show up in the mail, but what if you're a procrastinator?
We are celebrating Christmas tonight.
Back on ChatGPT, we asked for a list of stores where we could find my list of products available right now. Well, at this request, we found AI less helpful. It told us we could find a hat for my kid's favorite baseball team, the New York Mets, here at my local Dick's. Nope, not there. Nor was the gel nail starter kit that it told me they would have down here at Michael's. But if you are able to budget a little time...
This is pretty good. Yeah, surprising how accurate it... Sorry, man. I got a new elf. Why does AI always beat me?
So Santa Claus comes tonight. Okay, Jeff Kaplan is in studio with me. So much for personalization.
I never trust AI. I mean, for anything.
Okay, you and I probably are not going to embrace AI this holiday season.
Nope, not a chance.
All right, Jeff Kaplan's here. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is next. Have a great afternoon.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon, 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. Look at this, 72 degrees. KSL's top story. Election Day continues in Utah with anywhere between a trickle and a stream of voters showing up at the polls.